to a target that's further away, which can be darn handy.
Super good for touch cantrips.
Yeah.
Oh, righty, guys. We are live. Right as I ran off during Dante's countdown, so that was good. First stream, a little bit rustic. We'll get there. But that is all good. Everybody watching, welcome to Dungeons and Distancing. My name is Ben. I'm from Melbourne Dungeon Master. Thank you so much for joining us here on the live stream. We hope you enjoy coming along with us on our adventure today. This is an online Dungeons and Dragons competition, which is being brought to you by the folks behind ArcanaCon in partnership with Arkenforge. So today, our party members, which you can all see with us, will be embarking on, for them, the third stage of an epic adventure. This is and has been a 5-part campaign set in a unique world called Aurelia, where good and evil is not always black and white. This competition is being sponsored by the fantastic folks at Quest Suppliers, and we thank them for their generosity in providing this competition with prizes. What makes me really excited about the Quest Suppliers is that they're an Australian hobby store that sell and support Australian hobby supply creators and RPG writers, as well as the RPGs we all know and love, such as Dungeons and Dragons. So big shout out to those guys. I've said competition a few times now, so let me kind of describe for those watching specifically what that means. In this game, we have 6 players. There are also 3 other games happening that are not being streamed that each have 6 players as well. From each group, only 3 players will make it through to the next round. 1 player will be chosen and put through by their fellow party members, while the other 2 will be judged by their dungeon master, in this case, me. Judgment for advancing through the competition is based on principles of good role-playing, embodying a character, making difficult decisions, being creative. So it doesn't necessarily matter how many natural 20s are rolled or monsters slain. I do have a judging criteria that I am sort of working towards, but that is kept secret from the players so that they can't necessarily play towards it. But feel free to discuss in the Discord chat who you would put through if you were in my shoes or the players here today. This is the quarterfinal of the competition. So those that don't make it through today are going to get a $10 gift voucher from the Quest Suppliers. So our 3 party members we sadly say goodbye to get a little consolation prize. And those that do make it through go on for even greater riches. So there is a bit of skin in the game with this competition, with this D&D game. The artwork for the PC portraits, which you can currently see on screen, are provided by Helen Graham. We have done a few touch-ups. We apologize, Helen, just because we have some double-ups on the characters, but I never feel that there is any reason not to have double-ups of class and race and that sort of thing. And everything else that you are seeing today on the screen is being powered by the Arkenforge Masters Toolkit, so including the grids, and if we get into a bit of a scrap, you'll get to see that toolkit at work. So, with nothing further, let me introduce you guys watching at home to our campaign and our campaign setting. The setting for this adventure is an empire called Aurelia, a large and diverse land united behind a singular vision. Circumstances are often complicated, and your characters, or the characters that you see here today, may have to choose whether to be shining beacons of hope, merciless tyrants in the name of peace, or simply try to make the best out of a bad situation. This adventure, I feel it's worth noting, does contain themes of spreading illness in plague, which, given the current world circumstance, I feel the need to note, but hopefully that doesn't keep anybody from watching along with us. This adventure is set in Woodhaven. Woodhaven is a small village, nestled among the trees on the southern side of the River Wood. While officially part of the province of Frontier, the village is very isolated and often goes weeks or months at a time without visitors. This closely knit community is walled within a palisade that protects the village from invading predators such as wolves and bears. Inside are several dozen cottages and burrows squeezed between the larger municipal buildings. The peoples of Woodhaven comprise of humans, half-elves, dwarves, halflings, and especially gnomes. Ancient rock piles that dot the village point to the forest folk as the founders of Woodhaven, collecting visitors throughout the centuries to grow their community. Today, the population barely reaches 1,000, yet Woodhaven continues to grow slowly each year due to the successful self-sufficiency of the village and outsiders deciding to retire here. Woodhaven is indeed charming and idyllic. Hidden in the woods, with the road into town barely more than the 2 dirt lines cut into the underbrush by the carriage wheels. By day, the town centre is bustling with friendly locals who are trading goods and gossip. By night, the smell of log fires and fresh cooking intermingles with the sounds of chirping crickets and rustling leaves. But all is not well in Woodhaven. The peaceful existence of Woodhaven has recently been interrupted by a sickness slowly spreading through the town. The first to fall ill was the alderman's son, Dean Herschel. Soon after, other villagers also became sick, and panic began to grip Woodhaven from fear of the blood-spittle plague spreading throughout the settlement. In the last 2 weeks, up to 50 townspeople have fallen ill and 12 of them have died. The symptoms start as a weakness and loss of appetite, but quickly escalate to bleeding from the gums, eyes, and fingernails. Painful lesions also form to make the bleeding worse. Soon, the victim becomes weighted and unable to keep food down. Their weakness increases until they can no longer move. And finally, a quiet though painful death. So far, the town keeper, Eldon Broadleaf, and their apprentice, Sarah Forsdotter, have been unable to effectively treat the illness. Healing potions and other herbs from the Evergreen Garden are proving useless. The plague is proving resistant to even potions of vitality. Now the town is desperate for a cure and a way to contain the disease before it spreads even further. Our adventurers, allow me to introduce them. They are currently assembled in the town hall, the largest building in Woodhaven, typically reserved for celebrations and town meetings, yet now that it is serving as a makeshift hospital to isolate the ill. The alderman's office is upstairs and accessible via an exterior set of stairs, allowing the adventurers to visit without entering the town hall itself. And the alderman sits behind his desk, so kind of considering the adventurers with a quiet reserve. He's obviously very haggard at the moment. Alderman Percival Herschel has aged greatly in the previous few days, as the adventurers have sort of started heading out and doing tasks for him to try and find some sort of solution, or at least stop things from getting worse in Woodhaven. Let us start with Ian Prince. Can you introduce your character for us? Generally what they look like, why they're here in front of the alderman, kind of what is their personal motivation, and maybe one thing of note that Ian accomplished or remembers from the previous few days of doing tasks for the alderman.
Hello everyone, Alderman. I'm the town barber, Ian, as you know. Now, I don't know much about these sickness things or finding a cure or anything, but I'm happy to lend my muscles where muscles will do good. So Ian is a Goliath, which is a large, like 8-9 foot creature with pale skin and dark tattoos all over them. Being a barber, he has a leather apron stuffed full of his barbershop scissors, razors, brushes, etc. He also has a massive great axe strapped to his back. Overall, so far in the campaign, Ian has been kind of happy to see how well his community has banded together in the face of this, and how hopeful he is personally that we can find a cure. We just need to find Eldon. I think he's the root to all of this. Oh, I made a joke.
Touching on, yes, of course, Eldon Broadleaf, the keeper, has gone missing, the sort of town healer and priest. Along with Ian, inside of the alderman's office is Isaiah.
Hello. Yes, hello. Isaiah here, the bard, as you all know, with Alderman. Hello, Percival. Good to see you again. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, well, you know, here was a bit of a story, a bit of a tale, a bit of a song, a bit of a poem, a bit of a play. Even. I am, well, a lovely 6'2", a little bit taller if on my profiles, and I have long, luscious blonde hair, which I have combed very well. And I have a lute strapped to my back, of course. As I said before, I'm here for stories. I love a story. I do love a story. And I tell you a tale of what I did. I went invisible. Yes, I did. Yeah, I know you don't believe, but I did. I went invisible and I hid behind someone. And what I was going to do was I was going to fight the basilisk, but instead I told it, and it didn't. I missed horribly. But I recovered, and I talked some bandits out to being rude, and I tied them up, and I told them, don't do anything or get pointy. And then, well, you know, that's, now I'm here.
Excellent. Touching on 2 points there, the fact that looking for Eldon, the missing keeper, the party had ventured out into the swamps, where Eldon was supposed to be in search of a missing herb, and got attacked by a basilisk. And then shortly after having an encounter with bandits that the town suspected may have also kidnapped Eldon, jumping over to Salona. What is your character? Who is your character, and also what and who? And what are your memories of the previous few days?
For me, Solana doesn't really need much of an introduction. Everyone recognizes her from her band Good Harlot, that travel through the country and entertain the masses. She's looking very forward to doing some kind of charity gig to raise some money for this town that is suffering from this very horrible illness at the moment. Solana has been very brave and has been in the forefront of fighting, taking down the basilisk all by herself. And with just a dagger in hand, she took it down instantly without any business necessary. And she's just looking to really get this illness solved so she can get back performing, because it really sucks that everything's been cancelled.
Perfect. Yeah, and indeed, everything has been cancelled. The local log hall, the tavern in town, having no performances, and therefore the bards nowhere to go to earn their coin and ply their trade. Bringing us to Alros. Please describe Alros and what they've experienced, and perhaps why they're here.
Yeah, hi. Alros here, half-elf warlock. I said hi to a fae and did something to me, so now I have to do what they say, but this is my town. I gotta care about my village, and I really gotta look after the villagers. It's the good I can do for everyone. I put a big vulture to bed last time, I think, and I think it saved a lot of us. That's good, right?
Yeah, I do remember that. Putting the vulture to sleep and flopping out of the tree. An excellent use of magic. That was fantastic. Bringing us across to Thunk.
Hello there, name's Thunk. Unlike my other barbarian friend over here, don't really need a shirt. Muscles need to be shown. And, you know, have to get around acting as a bit of an elf. Got 2 goblin ears just stitched to my ears just to give him a bit more pointy. I was sort of passing through, but the Elderman did me a good kindness, so might as well help out a bit. Only problem is the last few times something's been bugging me, to be honest. I think I need to talk to him. But, you know, all of this is fun and games, and, you know, it's pretty nice to not get swallowed by the basilisk, and nice to have Isaiah there to kill him while I was being eaten alive. You could have come for me, mate.
So you'd say that you've got a fairly close relationship with Percival Herschel, the Alderman?
Maybe. Not so sure anymore. We maybe need to talk.
Okay, interesting. Bringing us, absolutely not least, but last in this circumstance, Zanzibar. Zanzibar, I think you're muted. Sorry.
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry. I'm just so used to everyone hearing what I have to say automatically.
Perfect.
I am Zanzibar Willow. I am from one of the founding families of this village, the Willows. We are a successful merchant family in this town. And we do consider it our duty to look after this town, to make sure it continues to be prosperous, make sure only the best people make it into town. Unfortunately, the savage folk were not some of those best people, and they did leave us, and they did choose to go into wild ways, and of course then have the the decision to take some of our wealth for themselves, which of course we can't accept. But I did exercise some of my experience in diplomacy, and we did manage to have some of those savages return to our civilized ways, which was a good thing. Otherwise, it could have been a very bloody and unfortunate experience. Now, Percy and I go way back. Of course, he is the Alderman, and we are the Willows. And I know that Percy, relies upon me to ensure that this village continues to be successful. And this plague, it is one of the worst things that we have experienced, but we will get through it together as a team. Collectively, as a group, with my sage advice leading everyone, of course, we will get through.
Your negotiation was masterful yesterday.
Oh, thank you, Ian. Without your skills, we wouldn't have made it anywhere.
Oh, I'm blushing.
Referring as well to the savage folk. So Zanzibar managing to convince some of them to come back into town. Is that so?
Well, yes, we did actually manage to avoid bloodshed. Bloodshed is always unfortunate. It's a waste of resources, essentially. People are resources in the end, for a village. We did have to exact a price. The leader of the savage folk did have to basically, I guess, give himself up for punishment on behalf of his village. But yes, the wayward folk have found their way home, which is good.
So just the previous day, the party venturing out to clash with the savage folk, these group of individuals that had once been settlers in Woodhaven, had decided to live out in the wilderness, and bringing Roggeville, their leader, a great half-orc, back to the village to experience justice. The alderman, Percival Herschel, obviously in a great debt to all of your characters in different ways, and you can see that he regrets to have to assemble you yet again. Your first venture going out to try to find Eldon Broadleaf, the healer, proving uneventful. Or not uneventful, but unfruitful, I should say. Definitely not uneventful. Your journey out to confront the savage folk, also not finding Eldon. So while your party was able to recover some of the supplies, you have not yet found a cure or even really cause of the blood spittle plague. Alderman Percival Herschel seems to have aged greatly in the previous few days, since he started sending your group out on these quests. The wrinkles beside his eyes, his crow's feet, drag down his eyes, where usually they were kind of a sign of whenever he was pleased. They now just look to accentuate his age. You can see his white beard is untrimmed and overgrown. You can't even see really his mouth anymore, as he's just let the whole thing go. You can see that he hasn't changed his tunic in days, and in fact, standing close to him, you can see that he's kind of starting to smell a little bit. He seems like a broken man right now. You guys know Zanzibar, and perhaps Thunk as well, being personally having a personal relationship with the alderman. He's very concerned for his son, and that weighs heavily on his mind. But you can also see the weight of the entire village on his shoulders, as he feels responsible for what is happening, not personally, but just responsible for fixing it, basically. On the desk in front of him are assembled a series of small items, sort of strange little collection of things, a sort of like bit of hair that is dipped in red wax, or pendants made out of animal claws, or animal bones wrapped in a small piece of cloth, twig fetishes, or effigies of humanoids made out of small twigs and bones and things. These items that seem very innocuous at first glance, but you guys able to ascertain that they are not entirely innocuous, that there is some potential magic to these little tokens. These were found in the village, which are the ones that the alderman has in front of him. And they were also found in the supplies that were recovered from the savage folk, your party knowing that the savage folk were also suffering from the blood spittle plague. So there is potentially a link between these tokens, the plague, and what links your two communities together, as these tokens were found in both communities, kind of hidden among the other supplies. When villagers in Woodhaven were sort of asked about them, they responded with kind of surprise of, oh, I don't think I'd ever really noticed that before. Where was it, you say? In a chest of drawers in my house. Oh, I have no idea how it got there, or at least I can't recall putting it there, which increases the strangeness of these objects. Alderman Percival Herschel sits behind his desk, and you can see that he considers these objects with an intense graveness. The expression on his face, a mingling of sort of despair, but also you can see his brow furrowed downwards in kind of anger or frustration. Does anybody at this stage, not that I'm expecting so, but does anybody want to do anything, say anything to the alderman, or ask questions?
Yes.
Percival, let me just touch you up for a second there. You look terrible. I'll go over and start trimming his beard back into a sense of normality while Zanzibar starts the questioning.
Okay, I like the idea that maybe he even called you up for that specific purpose first. He was like, Ian, can you just come before anybody else? I just have a little... So as you're having this meeting, you're just like there kind of trimming away. Zanzibar, go ahead.
Percy, I've never seen these objects before. Usually, anything of a magical nature is usually from myself or, you know, one of the other magic users of the village. Do you mind if I just have a look? Maybe I can sense something about them.
If you would like to gauge them, although I have suspicions about where they have come from. But of course, you are the expert in these matters, Zanzibar.
I think they look a little bit spooky, to be honest.
I don't know. I'm having a really good look. I think I do actually sense something about these objects, something familiar.
Cool.
I did a bit of a roll. I hope you don't mind.
No, absolutely.
21 in Arcana.
Okay. You can gauge that these things, kind of after taking a look at them, you gauge that there is definitely a uniformity between them, that they have all been made out of material that comes from the forest that surrounds Woodhaven. There's nothing metallic or anything like that in among them. And you're fairly certain that these, like if you were to give them a name, you would call them cursed tokens. Typically, these things are made by powerful warlocks or malevolent fae. They can take the shape of almost anything that they kind of, make and twine, like a small arts and crafts project. And the tokens are generally gifted to mortals, often without the mortal really knowing that they've been given it. And the token can bring both bad luck or good luck, bad energy or good energy. They can curse, but they can also kind of bless in a way. What you know, though, is that it is impossible to know the intention of what this token was meant to do without knowing the intentions of the creator. But as you kind of go through and look at them, bones that are inscribed, poisonous roots in a small little piece of cloth, you definitely gauge that these are bad news. You highly doubt, using all the evidence, the plague and everything, that these were meant to attract positive energy or good luck, and have most likely been made by something living not too far away outside in the Riverwood.
Is our dear barber finishing restoring the morale of our poor Percy?
There we go. Much better.
I'll give Percy's shoulder a bit of a squeeze and a bit of a pat, there, and I'll say, Percy, I really think we should probably burn these things. They're not good juju at all.
He looks at them and says, if that is what you deem to be responsible, then I would trust your advice, Zanzibar. I simply wanted you all to have a look at them.
Alderman, what is it that you suspected about this? You said you had some ideas.
Indeed, Alros. There is a individual, a woman, that lives out in the woods. The name that she's been given is Edith Rottencore, but her actual moniker I would have no clue about. She's a witch that lives deep in the woods to the far north, on the other side of the swamps, much further than you have ventured yet. And long ago, this witch used to tend to the village. She used to provide apples from an orchard that she keeps deep in the woods. She would exchange favors, small poultices, potions, banish bad luck or bring on good luck in exchange for gifts of wood chippings or animal offal or bones or chips of rock, undoubtedly used in further spell casting. She was fickle, however. For the aid that she seemed to present us, she gave nothing without getting something in return. And for a long time, we were happy to go along with what she wanted, as, you know, wood chippings are worthless to us, more or less. But she did occasionally cause trouble. Swapped out healing for a poison, a poultice for a poison, bring on bad luck, invited mischievous creatures from the woods to come in, cause a wind to blow the gate open at the front of the town to let in predators. She had her own reasons for doing so, but I suspect that she was just, frankly, amoral, unknowable thing. I don't even know how old she is. She's got to be at least over 100. She was dealing in the village when I was a boy. Do you guys have any... Yeah, more or less. He kind of, like, as you say, a witch, he points and he says, "Indeed. Such a title I could not think of that would fit her better."
Well, I mean, you know, it's always easy to be superstitious about things that we don't understand, especially wise women. I know this feeling sometimes myself. But maybe we should go and have a chat. What does everyone else think?
I agree. I think it's a good idea to have a chat to this Edith and find out if she's really got a rotten core or if that's just unfortunate last name.
The alderman... Sorry, go ahead.
Was Edith friends with Eldon?
The alderman looks at you at that question and he says, "No, I'm not sure that the two of them were ever directly acquainted, but if she has cursed our village, as it appears here, it is likely that she would have taken him from us. Perhaps that is where he has been this entire time. She does live on the far side of the swamps, so heading out that way when he was looking for that herb, perhaps she fell upon him. Perhaps she planned this whole thing. She's conniving, she's unpredictable, but she is most definitely a vile creature. Make no mistake about that," as she kind of turns to Isaiah. "Make no mistake about her intentions. She wants us destroyed, she wants us dead, and I would be grateful if you would ensure that she is the first to demise, not us."
Well, we can certainly make that happen.
Hang on a minute.
Do I need to call for a deception check?
Yeah, you do. I'm a little bit concerned about my old friend, actually. I don't normally hear him talk like this.
Okay, make for me an insight check, Zanzibar, and then sorry, Thunk, you go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Thunk.
Sorry, what? So she had to come across that swamp where the basilisk was every single time. As in that basilisk that almost chewed up my leg. Some of you guys had better luck. But she had to get past that every single time to get here. Is that what we're saying?
She is dangerous. She's not strong or powerful or tall, but make no mistake, she has dark magics at her disposal, things that I can't even guess at, things that I'm hoping perhaps Zanzibar and Isaiah and Solana, I know that you have your own magics as well, and Alros indeed, hoping that you can...
hidden connives.
Indeed.
Yes, you do, Ian. You do. You do you, Ian. We'll do us. You do you.
Don't you?
He kind of like taps you on the shoulder and goes like, "You're there to make sure that the investigation doesn't end in complete calamity."
I'm good at me investigations.
Someone needs to carry me across the swamp.
I can do that too.
It sounds like we're going to have a bitch fight on our hands. I am very excited. I've taken down many bitches in my life. I can take down another one.
What?
I'm glad to hear.
So impressive.
I am insightful about the alderman. You know, I've tapped into my history of knowledge with him, and also, as I said, I understand there's suspicion towards wise women. And I did roll a 22.
Okay, so he is definitely more agitated than you have ever seen him before, indeed. There is something that he's perhaps not saying. How, like you say that you go far back, how old is Zanzibar, and how far back does your history with the Alderman go, you think?
I'm imagining my character's in their 50s, actually. And I reckon we probably went to private school together. My character went to the private school, apparently.
Okay.
The nearby wizard college.
Yes, and the fancy merchant college or something before that.
Okay, cool. That would have probably been outside of Woodhaven. So maybe we assume that in your character's kind of teenage years, you were outside of the village, and kind of away when Edith was kind of mainly operating. Probably, so you would all, like, being in Woodhaven, have some sort of memory of this, you know, if you were told a story about her. Like, she kind of does permeate the mythology of the town a little bit. But you do recall, Zanzibar, there is something... You don't recall the Alderman ever getting this agitated, and there is definitely something that he doesn't look like he's hiding it, but he looks like he is perturbed by even the mention of Edith. And the idea of going to have a chat with her, he almost jumps on Isaiah very quickly. He's like, no, you kill her. You make sure she's, you know, she deserves it. Yeah.
Can we be real for a minute? Hang on. Is this an ex-lover? Is there something we need to know? Like, was there some kind of, like, passion that has erupted? And there's some, you know, it's okay. I have many that I love. I've experienced this before.
He turns his head to look at you, and you can see that his bottom lip trembles a little bit, and he says, an ex-lover of Edith I would not make. I can't even guess at what she is, but my deceased wife, I hold Edith responsible.
Oh, she is.
We asked for healing.
I read that situation entirely wrong. Don't mind me. I'm going to the back again.
Just slide.
I just sort of give Solano just a gold coin, just to make her feel better as she's slipping to the back.
Now, do we need to go and talk to Dean? Do you think he might have anything that we need to know before we head off into the swamp?
The Alderman kind of shrugs and says, Dean was not even born when Edith was aiding, in fact, Georgia, my wife. She died in...
Wasn't he the first one to get sick with this plague?
You think that she's trying to get back at me again? You think after all this time?
If you think she caused the plague, and your son was the first one to get the plague, then perhaps there is a link there.
You may speak with him if you wish, but I warn you, Dean is weak. He does not say much.
Okay.
Do you think it's also...
That's very smart of you, Ian. I thought you were dumb like me.
I do investigations.
Do we think it's also worth talking to Helen in case the Keeper ever said anything to Helen about Edith? Or, I don't know, what do you guys think?
Are you referring to Sarah, the Keeper's apprentice?
Oh, yeah, sorry, Sarah.
No, all good, that's fine.
Yeah, let's talk to Sarah. Let's talk to Sarah.
I think we should talk to Dean, we should talk to Sarah, we should talk to the people, get to the people's words, and then, I mean, Dean can write it down if he can't talk much, that's fine. But let's have a chat and see what happens, and go on an adventure, because I feel another story is up for grabs.
Cool.
Or we could just bash him in.
But, I mean, you do you, I'll do me, and we'll do us.
Zanzibar, do you want to collect some of these trinkets in case we need to talk with the witch, maybe, and show her some samples, maybe?
That's a great idea. Is everyone comfortable with me perhaps very carefully putting those into a little cloth bag?
That's to you.
Just as she's sort of starting to touch it, I'll pull out my great axe just in case, you know, it's magically trapped or something's wrong with it. Just protecting.
You kind of...
I will swallow and sort of gulp a bit as I put the objects in the bag and look at Thunk a bit warily. You so?
Oh, no. No, don't worry. I don't want to kill you. It's just... Oh.
The trinkets go into whatever kind of like small storage you have for them, little knapsack or satchel or something. You know that they're not going to explode or anything like that. They're not that sort of magic. They're very subtle. They're almost more insidious than that. Carrying them, it could be dangerous, but it also depends. Usually they have a relatively specific purpose. Solana, were you going to say something?
Sarah now.
Cool, you're all good. Go ahead, Isaiah.
Let's. I think if Percival, if you wouldn't mind, and if everyone else, I think we should go have a chat to Dean, and then well, we can at least start something.
The alderman agrees. He stands up. He goes to like a door that's inside his office. As mentioned, his office is part of the town hall, which is being used as the hospital. So he has an internal door that goes into the hall proper. He pulls it's not even really like a handkerchief. It's just like a piece of cloth that he kind of has. Goes over to the door, unlocks it, opens it, and then holds the piece of cloth over his nose and mouth, and advises you to do the same.
Definitely do the same.
Cool. As you guys step in this room, the hall, it's quite dark inside as all the blinds are sort of drawn. It's fairly large as well. You're like on the raised level, which is kind of like a balcony that goes around the edge of the room to look down into the hall below. And you can see that the makeshift beds, some bed rolls, but also just some like pallets and things that are placed at intervals inside of the hall are... you can just see the bodies kind of like lying down there. No one's really moving. There's a slight bit of movement or groan as light comes into this room from the alderman's office. But the thing that hits you most of all is it just smells of blood and shit. And there's a lot of kind of suffering, that just, it hits you suddenly as... being a small village, this isn't a hospital. There's no one even really in here caring for these people. You know that Sarah Forsdotter, the keeper's apprentice, comes around occasionally, but without any sort of real treatment that she can provide. It's just thought that just shut them in there and hope to isolate this thing as best we can until we have a cure, and hopefully we can save them all. Going downstairs and kind of walking between the beds, you can see a few people kind of shift and turn to look at you. A lot of them are very weak, very emaciated. Their bed sheets are very bloody. Even the kind of floor around them is smudged as they look like they've gotten up to go to the toilet or something like that. But even, the waste buckets are just buckets in the corner, really. You find Dean. He is not difficult to find because of everyone in here. He probably has the best kind of setup, but it really is just like, while other people are on pallets and bed rolls, he's got an actual like small framed cot that he's lying on top of. And as you approach, he's extremely emaciated. He looks very weak. He's missing patches of hair. He looks, not dissimilar to his father, but he's while the generally kind of slightly round-faced, young Hodor-looking Dean Herschel, was liked around town and fairly chipper. He's almost irrecognisable for how gaunt he is. His neck extremely thin. You can see like the bones of his back sticking out through his skin. And as you guys approach, how would you like to approach? What would you like to say to him?
Zanzibar, I think you should do the words on this because you are better and faster than me, and we don't look like we have a lot of time. But I think if maybe someone could have a look over him to see if he has one of those little items we found on him or something.
Yeah, I'll have a very careful look at see if there's anything magic on him. But we do have two wonderful, illustrious bards here who probably can give a very reassuring, word or song for our poor Dean to distract him while I have a look.
Okay.
For all the villagers in here.
I was going to ask, is it sort of, do they feel like they're sensitive to sound? So it's kind of like when you have a really bad hangover and a loud noise is bad.
Not necessarily, no. They don't they kind of like look at you guys as you pass through, but it's probably because it's the only sound in here. So none of them are like, ah.
I take out my lute and I start playing Green Sleeves.
Okay, cool. No stress. Can I get Zanzibar to make a perception check, and can I get Isaiah to make a performance check?
Oh dear.
your green sleeves, by the way.
So I seem to be successfully perceptive at the moment. I hope I'm not using up all my good rolls, actually. 18.
Cool. So an 18 for the perception check and a 14 for Isaiah. You kind of like checking him over. You do not find one of these tokens on him, but you suspect, you know, just using your sort of passive intelligence, you kind of assume that he most probably, like, he's had his bed sheets changed, he's had his clothes changed since he first kind of came down with the disease. Of everybody in here, he's had it the longest, but his bed sheets don't seem quite as bloodied as everyone else's, which leads you to believe that they've been changed before. Most likely, you know, not trying to give him too much preferential treatment, but the alderman definitely cares for him a great deal. So if there was a token on him, it has long since been kind of disposed of. You know, somebody probably thought it was like a dream catcher or something and threw it away. In terms of your performance, Isaiah, those in here that are not, you know, badly afflicted, kind of even sit up. And you can see that while there is a gloominess to this room, even with the song, there is appreciation. There is kind of like a feeling of community in here, even among the kind of how bad everything feels.
Well, what am I for, really, but just to play some music and sing some songs?
As I just kind of giggling, I'm just going to gently press his lute down and just go, shh. It's very beautiful. I feel like a song of my people right now would be it's very inspiring music that I bring from the north, and I'm just going to jump up and when you're feeling sad and low, we can take you where you got to go. Smiling, dancing, everything is free. All you need is positivity. And then we would sing Colors of the World, Spice Up Your Life, but I feel like maybe that might be the wrong feeling. So we'll just stick with the little optimistic bits there, friends. But you're welcome. It's from Good Harlot. I'll sign autographs for you later. It's just, we're so happy to be helping, but I don't touch anyone. I'm not going anywhere near any people at all.
All right. No stress. Make a performance check for me as well.
Great.
What was that? Sorry, Isaiah?
Sorry, I might just go, while there's a bit of a song distraction, go over and see if I can have a chat to Dean and see if he will sort of, and I'll sort of usher Zanzibar over as well, and just sort of, and whisper to Zanzibar that we might, is it worthwhile asking Dean if he's come into contact with anything like these objects, or if he knows of anything, and then sort of kind of ask Dean. Dean, hello, Isaiah here. Yes, I know. Yes, I mean, don't sit up. Have you, by any chance, sorry to hear you're sick as well. It's just awkward timing, but we really need to know. Have you been in contact with any sort of strange objects recently, or found anything on your person or your clothes that you weren't quite aware of it being there beforehand, like a surprise?
Or the witch, like Edith the witch? You know the witch, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He
mentioned the wall.
I'll show one of the little objects to him.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Ian will give him a sip of water before he has to try and say anything.
Okay, perfect. In the background with the 22 on Solana's performance check, some of them, despite themselves, start clapping along. Like they're again, it continues to bring up the mood. Some of them aren't moving at all. Some just kind of lie there and kind of watch through bloodshot eyes. But others, there is a sense, of uplifting here with your song as well. And then in terms of the questions, Dean kind of like looks at you guys for a long time. You can see the lids of his eyes seem very heavy, but also very pronounced. He looks at the object, and then kind of like raising his hands up, he says, a girl in the marketplace. She was selling trinkets like that. I think I bought a a necklace from her with feathers tied as a pendant.
What'd she look like? What'd she look like?
She was like a person, human, I think. She had flowers around her neck. She said she was travelling. I don't think I saw her again after.
Well, that's
And
very
then-
mysterious.
When you, Alros asked, is kind of like throw
Questions?
Edith's name into the thing, he kind of turns to you, and you can see that there's a bit of fear in his eyes, you know? And he says, You think she watches from the woods and bides her time wisely with yellow cat's eyes, her hair long and wiry. She
Seen
offers
her?
out an apple from hands thin and spidery. With poison she coats it. With your bones she'll make ivory. And you guys recognize this. This is a rhyme that, you know, maybe the bards in particular might have heard before and thought, no way I'm performing that, unless it's Halloween.
With like a folklore story tale sort of thing.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Dean, for your poem, and for letting us know that. You have no idea how helpful this will be, and hopefully this might lead to some sort of cure. But we need a bit more time, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
I'll also walk up and pick out a rock with a sort of smiley face out of my pocket, so just place it on Dean's chest. We'll be coming back for this when we've got this cure. Got these smart people here. They'll figure it out. Ian and I, we'll just make sure they don't die. You'll be fine, mate.
Okay. His fingers kind of go around the object and he lies back. You can see that it has, like, to speak even this much caused him quite a bit of effort. But he seems comforted. Where would you guys like to go next, or what would you like to do next? Sorry, go ahead, Alrock.
I think we might
sorry,
head out of the sort of the town hall into the sort of at least the open air for a bit and have a bit of a chat. If that's okay with the gang.
But just before we do, just as we're leaving, I will actually sort of think for a moment, and then I will cast a illusion of a really big bunch of wildflowers that will glow in the dark towards the center of the room. It'll only last for a couple of rounds. But, hopefully it'll cheer people up a little bit. Okay,
for sure. You guys leave this place feeling more like a children's hospital than a prison camp.
And I'll try and grab
too dark?
I'm going to try and grab one of the flowers and inevitably miss.
Cool, no stress.
Be outside?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can get outside.
Gang, that's spooky as fuck. So, I think...
Stinky.
Yes, well, it's a lot. There's a lot going on, but at least we know something. We think Dean might have actually come across one of these trinkets, and maybe that's the cause. But I think if it's all good, I think we should go talk to Sarah and have a chat with her and just sort of, well, you know, suss out how she is, because she's pretty cool, and sort of find out what we can do and then move on.
Maybe she knows something about these trinkets or seen them before.
I agree.
Are you a bit keen there, are you?
Maybe.
I think Ross has a little bit of a crush on our little friend. But yes, I think maybe that's worthwhile. Yes, I think we should, and she can also examine the ones that Zanzibar brought as well and see if she has any ideas.
Okay, no stress.
Hey,
you guys...
By the way, sorry.
No, go ahead.
By the way, Zanzibar, you're one of those merchants, right? Does that description of that girl sound familiar, or is she just a traveler come through once?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I was trying to remember whether today is actually market day. I mean, we often have travelers coming through, and if they're just a once-off, we don't require them to have a permit. They are just welcome to trade. But if it was market today, maybe we could go and check with some of the other merchants, or maybe if there's someone in the merchants guild today, we could go check with them. Otherwise, she's not familiar to me at all, but she may have only been just for one day when I was out of town.
Make for me, Zanzibar, just a basic intelligence check. And also just to kind of answer that question, the market is not on. It has not been on for a little bit of time. With they're in Woodhaven trying to practice the whole social distancing thing. And so they, are having things delivered rather than sort of milling about in the center of the town. With the...
My intelligence escapes me apparently at the moment.
That's all good.
Not really bright about this at all.
More of a memory check, but as you mentioned, what you said holds true. You have no memory of this specific person. When you guys go visit Sarah is in the Evergreen Garden. The Evergreen Garden is located inside of the village palisade, nestled into the eastern corner of the village. And the Evergreen Garden is basically a temple. Within the context of this setting. The garden flourishes with all manner of colourful flowers and plants which partially obscure the sitting stones that are placed for those to meditate and pray upon. At the centre of the garden rises the impressive golden bark tree, a mighty oak with spreading branches, a yellow trunk and emerald leaves. The height of this sacred tree rises above all the buildings in Woodhaven. The garden is idyllic and peaceful, butterflies nestling on petals and a gentle breeze rustling the leaves. But there aren't many faithful gathered in the garden at the moment. You can see Sarah Forsdotter. She's a half-elf. She's quite young. She's sort of 18, 19 in her actual age, but to human reckoning, she looks like she's sort of 14, 15. Almost an adult by half-elf years, but she speaks very well for her age. She's wearing a functional tunic of a keeper with a tree printed on its front and her gardening and alchemy tools belted at her waist. Her hair is kept in a messy, functional bun and her expression is worn with worry and a lack of self-confidence. The role of the keepers in the Evergreen Gardens to basically keep the garden, but also harvest the herbs and flowers to create poultices, healing herbs, that sort of thing. So the pressure on Sarah, being only the apprentice, is immense at the moment. When she sees you guys coming, her shoulders instantly rise, as they tend to whenever she knows that she's about to be questioned about something. She's a very nervous sort of girl. Approaches you guys as you approach her and says, welcome back.
Hello, Sarah.
Hi, Ian. Is there something that I can, Alros, something that I can be of service with?
Well, we have a few questions, Sarah, as always, just sort of on our quest to find the alderman and not the alderman. Who's
Eldon?
Eldon. Thank you, Ian. Thank you. And also just we briefly just had a chat to Dean beforehand. He's quite unwell. He did tell us he came across a girl in the marketplace, and she sold him a trinket, and we were just wondering that if you've seen anyone like that. I kind of describe Dean's subscription to Sarah, and if you're familiar with who that might be.
No, I don't recall anyone like that. I'm really sorry.
That's okay. That's perfectly fine. You're doing a great job as always, and it looks like you're keeping things very well. And Eldon will be very proud of you as always. Zanzibar, I think if it'd be all right, we might show our friend. We did actually find some of these trinkets that Dean purchased around the town and with some bandits.
Okay.
And do you know anything about these?
You present out the trinkets, and she looks down at them. She sort of like takes a moment and says, No, I'm sorry. I mean, people like to keep things like this sometimes for good luck, but Eldon, he didn't really believe in superstition. He was like, Father Elijah will make our path, and there's not a thing that we can do to change the path of his plan for us. So I never really, dealt with such things. Eldon might have said that he thought they were dangerous or something at some point, but I don't really remember. He never really paid them much heed.
Well, that's perfectly all right. Well, you're doing a great job as usual. Don't ever forget that. He would be proud. And,
We'll find Eldon soon. Really, I promise you, we'll find Eldon very soon.
Yes, I think,
Thanks.
we might do a bit of a team huddle, and thank you, Sarah, for your time. How are you? How are you going?
I'm all right. She's sort of like very meek. Thunk, did you have something you wanted to?
I'm sorry. While this conversation's been happening, I'm sort of tried to be subtly pulling out one of the flowers and sort of just giving it to Alros. Like, I think she.
I'm going to use minor illusion to start playing, like you hear in the background, like a harp playing "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?"
Yeah.
Just the instrumental harp version.
Can I do a deception check or something and fail miserably like last time?
I'll get you to do is this like a genuine, like, show of affection, like I like you?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, make a persuasion check and do it with advantage for the aid that you've been given by your fellows.
So, check exclamation check.
Yep,
Persuasion.
Space persuasion, and then if you leave a space and type ADV, it should do it twice. We're using Avray for our dice roller for those on the stream.
And I come
Perfect.
up with a beautiful 19.
Yeah, you see, Sarah Forsdotter, she is obviously very unconfident, as you can see, when Isaiah kind of assuring her, and Alros and Thunk as well, that, you're doing a good job, don't worry, really trying to really self-assure her. She sort of has like a meek smile, her shoulders come down like the slightest amount, and she sort of maintains that shy, kind of very self-conscious, very apologetic sort of facade. That's the word I'm going for, but it's not an act. Like, you guys can tell that she's genuinely like that. When you, Alros, approach with that flower and that music kind of gently plays in the background, it is a beautiful moment, and you see her go bright red, and you see those shoulders come right down. They don't relax so much as she just kind of like, stops being so aware of everything else around her for a moment. That she reaches out and very shyly, sort of slyly takes the flower. She doesn't make, she does. She makes the briefest eye contact with you, Alros, and flashes you the smallest little smile. And she says, incredibly meekly, "Thank you." And that's when she makes eye contact and then looks down again. And if you guys do you follow that up with anything, Alros?
No, I'm busy freaking out that a girl accepted something from me.
She bustles away very quickly, just sort of, off she goes. A lot of energy in her step as she... what do you guys want to do in your group huddle?
So,
What's the plan?
That was adorable, everyone. Well done, us.
Yeah, good on you,
Well
Alros.
done, you, Alros. That was quite brave of you to do that.
Seeing you at it all the whole time.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's awesome. Thank you so much, Thunk.
I'm
And Solana.
I'm always pleased to see the young folk of the village getting on together and sort of, doing things that can lead to a positive future for this village. It's always heartwarming. My character is very regretful, but she does have to ask Sarah one more question. It isn't the most positive of questions, but she does sort of shuffle over to Sarah and just quietly ask her if Eldon's ever mentioned Edith.
She kind of like looks up at you and says, "Edith, yeah, I mean, we all know the rhyme about her and her apples and poisoning them. And Eldon, whenever somebody came and asked him, 'Oh, you must have the witch helping you with his poultices,' he'd get very angry and insist that no, he'd made them all himself. I don't really remember much about Edith myself. I wasn't really born, I don't think, when she was around, but Eldon would say that she was no good and that people should rely on the keepers. They're the healers, and not some, person living in the woods who says that they can do healing for rocks and animal livers and things like that.
Thank you, Sarah. We'll go now.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. I might just butt in. Is he usually this sort of black and white? He seems to have just, with the savage people, he seems to have just kicked him out. Is that just a decision made by him, or is that everyone?
Are you asking specifically, so just not to confuse the two characters, so Percival Herschel being the alderman and Eldon Broadleaf being the keeper, the sort of priest in town who's missing?
Oh, sorry.
Are you referring to Eldon, or are you referring to the alderman? The
alderman, sorry.
Okay. That's a good question that Sarah doesn't necessarily have the answer to. She's not sure, being quite young, but the general vibe of the village, if you were to ask around, is that, you don't get a concrete story of like how the falling outs happened specifically, but you do learn from most people that they're like, oh yeah, no, Edith, weird old witch that used to live in the woods. I think she used to do favors. And the same with the savage folk, like, they're thieves, and one of them once stabbed me in the back for just looking at him funny, A lot of kind of like rumoring, so it's not like hard and fast stories, a lot of anecdotes people have. But in terms of that question, hard to ascertain for certain.
Don't worry, you've got enough on your plate. I'll just awkwardly walk off. Don't even say goodbye.
All right, no stress. Group huddle, what do you guys want to discuss?
Well, that was adorable, as I mentioned beforehand. She didn't really know much, but that's okay. We did find out a few things from Dean. Maybe, depending on what the time is and all that whatnot, we should probably head out and go find Edith.
Oh, I'm so ready. Solana's going to take her earrings out and put her hair back. I'm ready. This is what I was born for.
Right,
Not really going to with basilisks and these banditos from last week, because bitches I can...
Ian passes you a couple of hair.
Tigers.
So we're going through a swamp then, right?
Agreed. I guess we sort of band up our stuff and then we go.
Cool.
Pretty boy Isaiah, you don't like any of Rove's dirty again, do ya? You want a lift?
Thank you. I would love a lift. Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. And if you get tired, I'm sure I can always hop on Ian's back, because he looks like a strong fellow too.
Oh no, I'm stronger than Ian here, and I'm maybe a bit insecure about the fact that there's another Goliath here.
I just got to lock up my shop and then I'm ready to go.
Okay, well, once Ian's locked up his shop, we'll have a haircut and we'll go.
Cool, not a stress. You guys assemble on the outside of town. Just bear with me while I free up our tokens. So we have our barbarian barber. We have Isaiah, our bard. We have Solana, our other bard. These were pre-gen tokens. That's why they're using the same artwork. We have Thunk, our other barbarian. We have Mustacheless, yeah, clean shaven. Our wizard, Zanzibar. And last but certainly not least, we have our warlock, Alros.
We have an estimation of how long it will take us to walk to see Edith?
She lives, in a very deep part of the woods, past the swamps. It is still early morning. You think if you kind of head out now, you should get there kind of by mid to early afternoon, depending on how quickly you move.
Will we go past that man with a farm?
Yeah, you could go past Wiseacre Farm if you wished to.
I just double check and see if his fence is okay.
Traveling up the road, you guys head off into the Riverwood. Traveling north to get to Wiseacre Farm. Come across Perrin Wiseacre, who's a halfling, saved in a previous adventure from some saber-toothed tigers that were besieging his farm or attacking his farm.
Hello,
and He's sort of, he's very pleased to see you guys. Perrin's stout halfling, broad face, flat nose, always grimacing expression. Overalls are filthy, brimmed hat riddled with worn holes. He looks at you, Ian, as you approach. He's out in his yard. He's still trying to fix the fence. You can see he's got like a basic kind of scaffold where it was broken on the far side of his farm. And he just looks up, he goes, Ian, is that you? Good to see you. Ah,
hello.
All of you.
Oh, you've got some wood. Want a hand getting it into place?
Well, I can't imagine that you've all just come up here to help me rebuild my fence for me, have you? It's greatly appreciated.
Not entirely.
Oh,
We're heading off to visit Edith on the other side of the swamp.
The witch,
You're heading-
evil witch.
Yes, indeed. You're heading off to see Edith, are you? Oh, I didn't know she was still alive. I assumed she was dead.
Oh,
Well,
that
say
would
no,
be...
she's dead. We can just go back. She's already dead. It's not even worth it.
I've never seen or heard any hide of her for... Well, it's got to be at least 30 years. 20 years, something like that.
We go see us before I was even born. So let's just go. We'll just go. No worries. Enjoy your fence. Let's go, team.
All right, enjoy.
Okay.
Just
Bye, Perrin.
keep your wits about you out there.
I'll
you
come
guys
back with some
continue to
elderberry
travel.
tea another day. See you.
Oh, I meant I go back to town. Like we don't even need to go to this witch. Clearly she's dead.
I think so.
Why are we going? Why are we still going
Probably
towards this? What is this?
Sorry,
I think we
Solana,
need
you
to
did
check
say that.
Look out
ourselves.
for ourselves, yeah. He can be a bit forgetful, that one.
Okay.
And a coward.
Just imagine if that was like the end, though. I was like, yeah, no, she's dead. You win. Congratulations.
Hooray! Free haircuts for everybody.
You win day in day, right?
Yeah, exactly. You guys come to the edge of the swamp, passing through, similar sort of area that you would have passed through previously. The swampland, where the river kind of breaks its banks on the southwestern side and then forms kind of a saturated marshland. This is difficult for you guys to get through, especially as my gauge, and tell me if I'm wrong, but my gauge being that most of your characters tend to be more village bodies than wildernesses. But you're able to get through it without any calamity or disaster. No monsters assail you this time. The basilisk that had previously laired inside of the swamps slain. Until eventually... yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Do we pass the basilisk as we're going?
If you guys... If you want to try and find the spot where you slew it, you could find it, yeah?
Oh, I'm just gonna kick it as I go.
Okay, cool. No stress.
Just as-
Still big, still heavy.
Sorry. Just as we're
wh-
getting close to Edith, I will actually cast Mage Armor on myself. I like to be prepared.
Cool, no stress. Does that change your armor class to 15?
I think it does. 14 or 15, I'm not sure. Let me just check. It's your dex plus 2.
Plus 13.
Yes, sorry, it's 13 plus dex, which is plus 2. Yeah,
Yep.
so I think it comes up to 15.
Yep, perfect.
I think I'll do the same.
Yep, cool. Popping your mage armor as well. Alros, which I think puts you on 15 as well.
Correct.
Cool. As you guys come to the northern edge of the swamps, the terrain does start to change as you head upwards and come to an area which you've maybe heard about in tales. Perhaps the alderman mentioned it by name, even though the DM maybe forgot to. As an area of the forest referred to as the Rotten Heart of the Woods. This area has these massive trees that kind of grow incredibly high. So high, in fact, that they reach out, creating this really dark kind of area of the forest, as the canopy is almost impenetrable due to the sunlight not being able to get down into here. These trees, just the roots of them are so big and large that they create bridges and boulevards and archways. And you can see that there's fungus that kind of grows around like the edges of them. There's a lot of bogs and motionless brooks resting between the tree roots. And you can hear that this place, for how dour it appears, it is very alive. You hear a lot of frogs, snakes, and other unpleasant beasts slithering in the shallow, muddy depths of the brooks that you pass. This ancient wood has sort of enchanting but very bleak beauty to it. And you can see as you're kind of traveling through this moon-faced grey owl watching you guys approach through the forest. And then as you kind of get closer to it, it's vaguely in the direction that you're heading further north. It just opens its wings and silently swoops off deeper into the woods. Eventually you guys come to sort of this strange landmark where, pardon me, one of the archways, or one of the tree roots, I should say, kind of like grows up and does a large loop upon itself and creates this archway, or this kind of like wooden frame almost. And you can see hanging from the inside of the curvature of the frame are more what appear to be cursed tokens, sort of like feathers bound together on twine that hangs from the top, or bones that create some sort of charm, or a claw that has, you know, small little carvings in it. And the other thing that you hear as you approach this, just kind of at a slight distance, maybe a few trees away, is just this faint, sort of jaunty little tune. There's like playing back and forth. This is the first landmark that you guys have kind of come across that appears different and kind of indicates to you that perhaps you were closer to Edith's lair than you realized you were coming necessarily. What do you guys wish to do?
Sounds kind of like your music, Solana and Isaiah. Do you know this one?
Thank you, but also rude.
Yeah, this is clearly very jaunty. I do very rock folk kind of like, I do very edgy stuff, you know?
Can I
I'm
sneak?
sorry, I'm sorry.
Can I try and sneak towards and stealth my way to find out what's making the music?
Yeah, sure. Make a stealth check. Does anybody want to go with him?
Would you like a hand?
Do we think the music is coming from beyond the little circle?
It's kind of like at an angle. If the circle, the archway made of roots is like, you know, more or less directly in front of you, it's kind of like a 45 to 90 degree angle off in a different direction. Still kind of ahead of where you were going, but you know, just kind of hearing it in the distance, like I said, a few trees away. Definitely, like, if you were to go towards it, you would be heading away from where the tree root is.
Well, I'm more than happy to join you, Ross. So I'll stealth on over there as well.
Okay, cool. So I have a...
Ian's also going. He got a 20.
I've made a 24.
Sure. Whatever it is going to have a very high perception to see you guys so far. Go for a stealth check, Isaiah.
That's okay.
Kill.
Your feet are making a lot of noise here, and I pick him up under one arm.
Oh, thank you. My 11 is probably helped by your very good number, big man.
Have you got a cover to put on your loot? It keeps on twanging.
I dropped my loot.
Okay, cool.
And the symbol
I'll
and
pick it up
the gun machine. Yes.
Thunk, Zanzibar, Solana, are you guys sticking back, investigating the archway, or following stealthily as well? Or do you want to follow up a little bit behind these guys, let them suss it out first and then decide?
Smart ladies, what do you think?
I think that Edith would have protections in place, and we should be looking out for little traps or even little pranks from Edith. So I think we should step very warily, and I'm not very good at seeing hidden things, but I'm trying very hard to notice any potential traps or anything that may be a little bit nasty in nature.
Alright, make a perception check for me.
I might just use my sort of, I'm not sure if this is smart, but I might just use my great axe that's sort of pole to try and sort of hit against the ground, see what traps are around, because Thunk has no concept of magic.
Alright, no stress.
Sorry.
I'm lucky I can walk straight because I can't see a thing.
Okay, cool. What did you get on the perception check?
3.
Awesome. And then Thunk, as you start kind of like feeling with your axe out in front of you, I'm going to assume at this point that Ian, Isaiah, Alros are a little bit ahead of the party. Zanzibar, you kind of where you guys stop to hear the music are looking around. You don't notice anything kind of like this whole place is kind of strange. And Thunk, as you're feeling your way with your axe, Zanzibar and Solana, you see it and the other three hear it as a tree branch just falls onto Thunk. It kind of initially looks like a dropped branch, comes out of nowhere, smacks him. It's like a piano falling on someone. It's almost comical when it hits him. It deals not a little. It deals 17 points of bludgeoning damage as it just crushes you into the ground. And then you see very slowly the tree branch rise back up like a limb being lifted up from the ground.
Guys, there's a fallen tree over here. It just may hurt a bit. Maybe just, don't go this way.
Well,
This is-
how you found it.
This is kind of, I'm assuming, roughly in the same direction that those guys, Ian, Isaiah, and Alros have headed in. They managed to get through safely without anything happening, but this branch, as you see it rise back up, it seemed, just to your reckoning, Zanzibar, being the magical expert, very targeted at Thunk for some reason.
Oh,
And
you have secrets. Are you a secret? Have you met Edith before, maybe?
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yes, sorry.
No,
targeted you. It seemed personal. Have you offended Edith in some way?
I mean, I'm a Goliath, and I'll be honest, I don't necessarily speak so well, so maybe I've offended a few thousand people. Not sure about this one, though.
Not a lumberjack by any chance, are you? Maybe this tree noticed that about you.
Trees often have things against me. Nothing to do with lumberjacks. They're just nasty little creatures.
Sunk, are you okay? That seems to be like, are you okay? Just, I mean, fuck, like a tree just fell on you and you're just here having conversation like nothing's happened.
Oh, it's just a flesh wound. Just a flesh wound.
Okay, you don't need like any healing, like you're fine? Because personally, I think I would be dead at this stage, but that's,
That is why I am the barbarian.
Great. Okay, well, like, I'm just going to be behind you, so if you need any healing, I can at least push you in front of me then, because clearly that's going to work.
Let's save that for when she starts firing. Maybe a few flaming things or fire things, fire circles. That's what they're called, right?
Fire. Okay, yep, we can wait for the fire. I think I'm already in the fire, but this is fine. So I'm going to be behind Thunk, kind of like just hiding behind his great physique, and just
I'll actively be sort of defending her and sort of inviting Zanzibar if she wants to sort of get behind. Yep.
Thank you very much, my good man.
Where I'll leave this scene, because we'll jump across to the scouting party that have gone ahead. But as you stand there, axe out, kind of like looking around yourself with the other two, clustered in, the air has kind of changed. You can hear the trees aching and moving and creaking and cracking above you, and that's where I'll leave that scene for the moment.
I'm too old for this shit.
As we come to the scouting party, as you guys move ahead, the sound of the music, you're not spotted. As you kind of come around, you need to scope around the side of a tree. You see it, you can hear it kind of coming from the far side of like this large oak or something. A lot of twisted roots around it, as there are around most trees around here. And when you get to the other side of it, you see that there is a small creature with a pan flute kind of playing back and forth. And this creature is incredibly odd looking in the eyes of yourselves. It appears to be male. He's about the size of maybe a small gnome, and almost looks gnomish, except for the fact that he has this pale blue skin, long grey hair, and his eyes are beady and almost insectile. He's sitting there just playing this flute, this pan flute incredibly rapidly, This tune that should not be played that fast, Isaiah, you think, in your expert opinion, as he just kind of like, just back and forth. He seems like he's extremely dexterous with his fingers moving the flute back and forth, but doesn't seem to notice you guys as you approach around the side of the tree and sits there and plays on. What do you want to do?
Alros, do you know what this is?
I have never seen such an ugly thing in my life.
Isaiah?
But Isaiah, do you want to play some music to it and maybe befriend it?
I could certainly do that. Why don't I play music slightly behind you, Ian? Just because, well, who knows?
Sure. Should I say hi to him?
No, don't say anything. Let's just let the magic of the music sort of fill the air.
Okay.
And I will take out my lute, take off the cover for stealth reasons, and I will start playing a little bit of a tune, and trying to match the tune, but with a lute.
Okay, sure. Make for me a performance check.
Right.
You can do it, Isaiah. Oh.
Okay. This is maybe
tune properly.
if someone here doesn't get this reference, hopefully someone in the Twitch will. As I don't know if you've ever seen the banjo battle in the video game The Curse of Monkey Island, and you've got to pluck as quick as the other guy does. That's kind of what this is like for you, Isaiah. This guy, it's not that you're not skilled enough, you're just not dexterous enough to be able to keep up with the way that the tune is being played. And so the sort of plucking required to keep up with each individual note is difficult for you. And this guy instantly looks up at you. His head he stops playing and his head moves towards you almost quicker than you can see, and says, "Oh boy, that's an awful caterwaul in there. You're going to be struggling to attract anybody with you playing like that. I mean, honestly, bro, you've got to speed up your game a little bit." And he stands up.
Hello. Yes. Sorry, I should have tuned first. I was trying to match your brilliance with your panpipe there, my little shamrocky friend.
Oh well, it's not the tuning that's the problem. It's that you're too bloody slow. You folk are always so slow lumbering around through this forest. Even this big gorilla that you're standing behind there. Well, I bet he'd have trouble playing it as well. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. It's just a aptitude you never have.
Well, I will always bow to greater musical superiority than myself. So I bow to you, and I literally bow to you. What is your name, my friend, my musical friend?
I don't see many of your folk coming in through this part of the forest, I must be honest. My name is Jackrow Pepper-Nimble. That's what you can call me if you're ever calling upon me.
Well, Jackrow Pepper-Nimble. What a mouthful of words. Jackrow Pepper. Yes.
Jackrow Pimpernickel.
Thank you.
Jackrow Pepper-Nimble.
Yes, all right. Well, we can all say it. I say it too. Why were you playing music? For what reason are you doing that? Just for fun?
See that this small creature, when he smiles, despite his strange appearance, his smile is surprisingly disarming. You can see that he has a stitched doublet with ragged trousers that don't reach past his calves and nimble feet sheathed inside of pointed shoes. You do notice, most probably, Ian looking, gauging the equipment of other people, that he does have a dagger on his waist and a flask, and can see that he's got a little hook or strap or something for his flute. He bows as well when he introduces himself, and then he says to you, "Well, why shouldn't I be playing flute in the middle of the forest? I mean, where else would I be playing it? This is where I live, in the forest. I know you don't live around
I gesture to the guys and I say, "Careful, he could be conniving." And I point to the knife in his belt.
Okay, cool.
Jackroll, nice to meet
Ian,
you. Alros here. Introducing myself. Look, this beautiful forest you live in. Do you live here as well? Is this your home?
Don't be so flattering, my boy. This forest is friggin' ugly, and there's a reason for it too. It's because it's poisoned. I wish that I lived in the nicer part of the forest, but I've been around here trying to make this part my home. But we all know why it's so ugly, don't we? Must be why you're here. Common folk don't come this far into the forest unless they're looking for her. They're definitely not coming here to visit me.
Well, you've seen right through us there, Sir Jack. Do you have any opinion about our friend who's made the forest so poisonous?
Oh, yes. She's absolutely terrible, I tell ya. The worst thing that's ever happened around here in the last couple of centuries. She just poisons it and covets it and keeps everything for herself. She won't let anybody have anything else. She keeps this orchard, of beautiful, beautiful apples, and she wouldn't let anybody get even close to them. She's conniving, I tell ya, and she's evil. She's been trying to trap me since the day I first arrived here. She sets these little ringed mushrooms on the ground. They're absolutely harmless to folk like you, but if I was to step in one of them, whoop, Jack Nimble would stop right dead, he would. Well, not dead, but I'd stop.
Right, yeah.
Hello, Jack Rowe. My name is Ian. Now, I am just wondering what you did to get kicked out of the good forest that you find yourself ejected from and making your way to create a home here in this shitty bit of woods.
I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't get kicked out of where I was before. I've just chosen to come here. See.
But,
and he kind of
why?
Rushes up to you guys. He's very kind of nimble as he skips across the roots. And you see just how short he is once he's standing in front of you. He's like the size of a gnome child. And he says, I've been trying to get my hands on those apples, you see, of Edith that she keeps locked away in her little orchard, but she won't share them with anybody else. And meanwhile, I don't know if you've noticed the profusion of snakes and spiders that happen to be permeating this part of the forest. I wish that she would just chuff off, I would. Somebody should do something about her. She tries to throw curses as if she's throwing greetings, I tell ya. And God knows what she'll do if she actually catches me. I mean, I'm a fae spirit. My bits and pieces, and he kind of like points at his torso, they're valuable in trinkets and making spells and potions and stuff like that. Ugh, shudder to think about it. Don't let her catch you either.
What value do these apples have? Apart from obviously being delicious.
They are absolutely delicious, I tell ya. But that's not the only thing they do. You have guessed correctly. These apples grow in a very special part of the forest. And anybody who plucks these apples and takes a bite, transported to heaven. But, sorry, you asked about what they actually do.
It kills them?
No. It doesn't kill them. I meant metaphorical heaven, sorry. I didn't mean literal heaven. I apologize. I didn't mean to mislead you there, my friend.
What's a mephitor?
We'll talk about that later, Ian. Don't worry.
Okay.
Jack Nimble just standing there as he's looking up at Ian, just like puts his feet out to the side and switches himself around to be facing Isaiah without just absolutely no hesitation. Faces Isaiah and says, they say that the apples have a tendency to cure any poison, any disease that does fall upon a person.
Well, that sounds like an interesting thing for an apple to do.
Absolutely. I've never heard of apples doing it before. Also, if you're in a spot of trouble, say, I don't know, and he kind of like turns his gaze sideways because he definitely would have heard it as well, crushed by a tree, well, it might heal you right up at will, closes wounds, stops bleeding, keeps you safe when you're closest at harm.
Do I sort of sense the bullshit, or is this all legit?
Make an insight check for me.
Thank you.
I'll make one as well.
These apples could cure everyone in town. I just thought of that.
Cool.
Isaiah, I don't know anything.
With a 4 on your insight check, you find this guy incredibly difficult to read. He's
got a great storytelling kind of songs, lyrics to him.
Yeah, exactly. However, Alros, and with help perhaps from your familiar, who would be more familiar with creatures like this, you gauge that this guy, he's not lying to you, you don't think. You actually don't think he's overselling the apples necessarily, but his Edith is poisoning the woods and everything like that. Looking around yourself, you don't think that's not true, just, going off the physical evidence. But this guy's pushing that idea just a little too hard, like he's like a seedy car salesman or something, and he's like, what can I do to get you to kill Edith today? You know, like, he's just, he's definitely pushed that idea very quickly. Yeah.
So, aside to Isaiah and Ian, so do you guys want to get this guy to come along, maybe, and get an extra hand if we're going to visit Edith, or do you maybe want to come back for him?
I think that's a good idea. If you would like to join us.
Everyone seems very bloodthirsty for Edith's head.
You should be, my friend, because she won't think twice before taking off yours.
I thought we were having a private discussion, but that's fine. Jackro, could you possibly lead us to said orchard? We have something to discuss with Edith.
I absolutely cannot. No, I'm not going to take you. I'm not going to go anywhere near her myself. Like I said, she wants my insides on my outside so that she can make potions out of them. But
more apples for
Jackro
us.
Purpanimble is absolutely helpful. I can show you how to get to her.
Well, that would be very helpful. We might liaise with our friends down near the fallen tree and have a, if you could sort of direct us from there, that would be wonderful.
Absolutely. I'll meet you there. And he just like rockets off sideways.
Shit, she's fast. All right. Well, Ian, if you don't mind picking me up again, just in case.
Okay.
Thank you. Hello everyone. I think we're probably back now.
Are you all right, Thunk? Wow, that's a big branch.
Oh, Thunk, you've got a bump on your head.
Oh, it's fine. It's not that bad. I mean, trees fall on us all the time, right?
No, but that's okay. We'll move on.
You can hear like there's like a rustling in the leaves, even though there's no wind. The trees kind of like moving around.
Yep. So at this point, I actually pull out a torch and light it.
Okay.
I'll get some of
have
that.
another branch which drops down on top of you. Your mage armor saves you from any danger, but the torch is snuffed as the branch kind of lands around you, and then that branch as well rises back up into the sky, lifted back up by the tree.
Ian was
and you
holding
hear
out his
from
torch.
fairly close by.
Sorry, can I just in reaction, I'm going to quickly sort of just grab Zanzibar and pull her back, just in reaction to all that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no stress.
Thank you for saving my life. Alright, did I hear a little giggle, did I?
You did. You look over.
Trees.
Is that
And what do we see? Do we
Jackal?
see anything?
Leave the tree alone.
Yeah, no, the tree wins. But did I see where the giggle came from?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of sitting in the tree that's closer to the archway, you can see the same creature that your compatriots were talking to before. He's kind of sitting there in that stereotypical sort of sideways kind of pose up on the branch, and he just says, I wouldn't light any more fires if they were you. The wood doesn't like them.
Yeah, I was hoping to maybe make them a little bit scared, but no, instead they've made me scared. Pleased to meet you. I am Zanzibar the Wizard.
And most pleasing it is to meet you, Zanzibar the Wizard. You may call me Jackro Purpanimble, at your service. I am but an honest puck and a helpful forest spirit here to guide you on your way to the witch Edith Rottencore.
He's nice.
Oh, I see you guys have already met him. Jack, do you know how we can make these trees not want to kill us?
Absolutely. Put your axe away and don't light any more fires, and you'll be fine.
Yes, I thought it might be something along the axe or like a lumberjack type feeling. Okay, yep. No.
It's my axe. I want to hold it.
Just don't point it at the trees. You'll be fine. You hold on to it. Don't point it at anyone. Well done, Punk. You do you.
Hang on. Hello. Hang on. Whoa. So the trees are like sinking, and we have. I'm sorry. What was your name? Jackro Nipple Purple. Sorry. What?
Jackro Purpanimble.
Jackro, and you live here.
I do. Yes.
Okay, so everyone's just okay with this. This is all just perfectly normal to everyone else, or am I just?
It's pretty normal.
Okay, look,
It's kind of normal these days in these crazy times. with
right. I
the
mean,
plague and everything.
Tigers beforehand, so this is kind of nice.
It's not
Well-
trying to kill us.
Jackroll wants apples from Edith. That makes sense, and I convey to the rest of the group what Jackroll's told us about the apples and what they
Cool.
can do.
Yeah, no stress.
Oh, maybe they could cure the people who are sick.
That's what I said.
Yeah. See, you gotta listen to your barber. Your barber knows all.
Maybe they could cure that bump on your head, Funk.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Maybe we just go for a test one first. I'm happy to be that, like a control. Is that what the scientists call
Don't
them?
think too hard, you've taken a knock. But that is a good idea.
Don't worry, thinking's not my strong suit anyway.
Thunk the big, tall guinea pig.
Shall we, Jackroll, can you show us the way to Edith? And is there anything we should watch out for?
Oh, absolutely. There are things that you should watch out for. The first thing I'll say is you should absolutely trust nothing that witch says, because she's trying to put you in her cauldron, make no mistake. And then he zips out of the tree and he stands beside that wooden frame curled from the tree root, and he says, "See this here? This is not a common tree root. This, my dear common folk, is a portal." And he kind of like knocks on it at first, and then he says, "If you were to pass simply by this archway, never would you have come across Edith. But go through it." And as he's explaining this, he walks behind it, and as you guys see like the frame of the archway, as he comes from one side and disappears behind it, you don't see him through the frame until he emerges from the other side and says, "That is where you will find Edith." But that is not all, for that is not the only one of these that she has planted down. In fact, her cottage where she lives is quite well protected by a spell that she has placed upon the location. There, if you were to travel through this archway, you will soon come upon a clearing, and there will be others there. Now, I could describe to you how to get through those archways, but in truth, Edith has placed a spell on it, so that I cannot possibly describe the location, even though I know it perfectly. When you find the cottage, if you were to try to tell other people, you would tell them only this: "Have not haste, first but look. One gate will, as you peer, show only what is real. Two gate will reveal that illusions do hide all. Three gate through you will spy swift demise as do flies. But one gate, grown with four, circle back, step twice through. That gate four, through you gate, stand upon Edith's door." See? I told you exactly how to get there, and it came out as fucking nonsense.
Now, one more time for the people at the back. What?
Okay.
First step through first 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 4.
Yeah.
I am...
Ian's got his tongue poking out, trying to think very hard.
So I'm going to copy and paste this into our Discord chat.
Please.
I gave
brilliant.
up writing notes.
It's like being on uni again. It was like...
For those playing at home, I'm not sure if maybe Dante can steal this from our Discord chat and put it in the Twitch channel. But maybe I'll go over it just one more time as you guys are having a read through. He says...
In-game, repeating it 20 times, isn't he?
What's that, sorry? Yeah, absolutely. And he's going like super fast. It actually takes those 20 times for you guys to understand even the words, because he's not going through it as slowly as I am. As he says... "Have not haste, first but look. One gate will, as you peer, show only what is real. Two gate will reveal that illusions do hide all. Three gate through, you will spy swift demise as do flies. But one gate, grown with four, circle back, step twice through. That gate four, through you gate, stand upon Edith's door."
Okay. I'm down with this.
I wish you luck.
I'll just. What do we do with that? Do we just walk through and then see things, and then is that all the way that happens?
I am hoping that it'll become clear to you if you go to Edith's clearing and try to find her cottage. And I would ask that if you are successful in your quest in slaying the witch, you come let me know. I live in a little gully not far from here, which I use to hide from her. Unfortunately, I'd rather not come with, as she scares the bejesus out of me.
Anything we can exchange for an apple that we bring back for you?
Look, I'm going to be completely honest with you, folk. Edith's not your biggest fan. She may soon look at you, kill you as look at you. So if you've brought with yourself something that she finds valuable, maybe you could exchange it for an apple, but I highly doubt that in your pockets you're carrying it.
Just love. What is her passion? What is something that's...
Torturing small things that are called jacropurpernimble, generally.
So, okay. Ethically, like, actually, let's just say hypothetically, not ethically. Do you want to come with us? And, you know, just... No, that's right. You already said no. That's okay. It was worth a shot. No worries.
Hey, Solana, maybe ask him if he has a past relationship with Edith.
Do you
That
think
went well for you last time. Oh, wait.
No, look, it's just, I've encountered my fair amount of bitches in my life, and they're usually, like, they have the looks, but, you know, they have the heart of, you know, ick. But, you know, maybe just to make sure, is this, like, bitch, like, what does she look like?
Oh, you'll know Edith when you see her. She kind of looks not dissimilar to one of you folk, if I'm being entirely honest. She's taller, and she's, you know, more like you than like me. But she's slightly aged, slightly old. I think you'll be able to tell the differences. The one thing I'd say is that it is hard to describe what she looks like entirely because she can appear as anything. Most of the time, her favorite form to disguise herself as is a white owl, but sometimes she'll scurry around as a snake, sometimes she'll scurry around as a rat or a bird or a raven or something else.
So you mean that, like, the owl that was flying before, right?
Yeah, like the owl we saw. That was probably her.
We have seen
You're right,
her,
Frank.
though.
Going to be honest with you folk.
herself as a jack?
As a jacropurpernimble? No. She would find this form utterly disgusting and couldn't possibly keep up with me. And he kind of, like, does a few dexterous sort of, like, he pulls out his dagger and kind of, like, you know, flings it around like somebody with a switchblade or something. Goes, it's
Careful, he's
mildly
being
impressive.
Don't trust him.
All right. Shall we get going? I really want to save the villagers
Yeah, these
Yes,
apples sound like a sure thing. Let's get them.
and impress Sarah.
Well,
I'm
we all
sure
know why
she's
you're
already
doing it.
impressed. I'm sure she's very impressed with you.
She
Cool.
might have spare time for a date if we bring these apples back.
Let's
Now we
save
need
the
enough
apples
for everyone. How many sick were in the town? 50?
50.
More?
then. 50.
50, but
12
let's
have
get as
died.
many as we can. So we can distill it or something, make some apple juice.
And the keeper. Shall we go through the portal?
Do you guys head through the frame? As
I
Jack
will go
requested?
first, as Funk
Yeah.
has already taken one for the team.
Cool. You step through, Ian, and find it ridiculous. Like, you don't feel you don't feel anything. Like, it doesn't feel like you've passed through a portal or anything. You turn around, you can still see your friends on the other side, except that if they are standing somewhere where they would be outside of the frame from your point of view, you cannot see them. And when you step when you go through the frame, they see you step through it, but if you walk kind of outside of where the frame is, you just kind of disappear. But it's not like glowing or anything like that. There's no like sound or you know, movement to suggest that you're in a different place. You feel like you're in the same forest.
I try and walk back out to let everyone know that it seems fine. Can I leave?
Yeah, absolutely. You just step back through the frame and you're...
Seems fine, everyone. A bit weird with like looking at people through the gate and stuff, but pretty all right. Maybe anyone up for tying themselves to me with a rope?
Let's just go.
Sure. But
All right.
Right.
Anyone that wants to do that, and he pulls a rope out, and ties it around his waist, over his shoulder.
I gingerly pick up the rope. Sort of
Cool.
just hold.
I think the whole point is you're supposed to tie it to yourself. Make sure you don't sort of...
No, I'm not fucking doing that. I'm just going to hold on to it.
You're lost, small one. Pretty boy.
Thank you, Frank, for your inspiration. Are we walking through the thing again?
I walk back through.
All right, I follow Ian, holding the rope
Cool, no stress.
like a big dog.
Zanzibar, do you know anything of portals and other secret worlds hidden within them?
I have come across some knowledge about these kinds of things. Yes. Did you have a question?
Are they dangerous? If I poke a finger through, will I lose a finger? This one seemed alright, but I'm just, don't want to get overconfident.
Well, I think some of these portals could be very dangerous, and we don't know where they go. We don't know what's on the other side. We don't know if they're one way or two way. We do need to be very careful. But so far, this one seems safe so far.
Can Ian pick up if there is one nearby a branch so that he can poke without it being an axe?
Okay, sure. Yeah, no stress. You find a branch on the ground and start poking the ground in
Just
front
like
of you as you move along.
kind of like someone with a seeing cane, just giving it a tap along as I'm just walking along the path now. Is everyone following, or is that what we're doing?
Yes.
I've gone through.
Yeah.
I've gone through.
All right.
I'll go through last, just to make sure holding the back of the party.
Cool. No stress.
Yeah.
You guys get through, come out. Again, it's remarkably unremarkable how it feels going through the portal. You just feel like you're in the same forest, traipsing along. You're like, was this entirely necessary? Well, look, there was something going on there. And as you continue along, eventually you do come to this strange sort of foggy clearing, which is roughly 100 feet across. The clearing is darkened by the branches of the massive trees that kind of surround it on the edges and reach out to each other high above to create an impenetrable canopy. A stream, or several streams in fact, kind of feed into this clearing, creating a shallow moat surrounding a central island. And you can see that, as Jackro Perpenimble described, there are three kind of large, these ones are made of stone, archways in this clearing, spaced at even intervals facing each other. It almost has like a bit of a Stonehenge look about it. But you can see that these archways have roots which kind of coil around them, coming up from the ground. And can see that each archway, similarly to the one that you saw before, is strung with effigies and carved with runes, hinting at their magical properties. They look a little bit like... Should have done the description while the screen was loading. This. You guys are approaching from the west side. Cool. Yeah, no, perfect. That's exactly what they look like. I'm going to move you to there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this party out to there. And then I'm going to add our party right there. And as you guys come towards the center of the clearing, this is basically what you see. I might even turn the fog of war off just so you can see the whole clearing. Looking around, seeing that it is these, exactly as described, 3 stone archways. What is it you guys would like to do?
Hey guys, one of the gates, gate 3, says that swift demise as do flies. I have infestation, which summons flies, bugs and stuff, which I can use to test which portal would lead to swift demise. So at least we have some degree of safety before we make a call.
Sure, let's get some in there.
I like that idea.
Can I mean, not that Ian knows anything, but he likes to investigate. So he will go over and do the big chin rub and just look at each of the portals, starting with that first one at the top in the north.
Going clockwise or anti-clockwise?
Clockwise.
Sorry, that's not what I meant to say. I meant to ask from the inside or outside.
Start on the inside. Look at the inside of all of them.
Cool. As you walk into the inside and look outwards, the forest appears much the same, kind of looking out at them. They appear like frames that lead functionally sort of to nowhere.
And the runes around them?
What languages do you speak?
Oh, let me check. I'm sure it's common and giant.
Goliath, yeah.
Yeah, common and giant.
You do not recognize them. These definitely, like, with a basic chin rub, look like the sort of thing that maybe Alros or Zanzibar are likely to know more about. Does anybody else?
Apart from needing a trim, I can't tell anything about these gates.
Yep. So I've got Elvish and Gnomish, so I follow Ian and also peruse these archways.
Cool. Moving on to the inside. As you look out of each of them, the forest appears much the same. The language is similar to Elvish. There's something like in the script, which kind of, and in fact Gnomish as well. Did you say it was Elvish and Gnomish? Yes. You knew? Yeah, there's something that's kind of similar in that script. But then, as you're kind of like looking at it, can you describe for us your familiar?
My familiar is a small bird, a small cockatiel bird that follows me around.
Cool. It kind of like clicks its beak. It recognizes this language.
So I listen in too, if my bird tells me anything.
Basically that these are, what are referred to as fey gates. They don't really lead anywhere, like, else, if that makes sense. But they create the illusion of multiple realities kind of folded in on top of one another, and are basically designed to more or less confuse mortals and make it difficult for them to gauge what they, which direction, you could get lost in these things going back and forth between them. The one other thing that you gauge from that is that looking from the inside out, the forest looks much the same, but your familiar suggests going to the outside and looking in.
Sounds like a good idea.
I'll convey this to the rest of the party. Ian, do you want to stay where you are and everyone spread out and look at Ian through the gates and see if anything's funny?
Okay.
Cool. Alros, which one are you going? North?
I'll just go to the bottom right-hand one.
Cool. Yep. What about Solana?
I'll go to the north. I'll go to the top one.
Cool. Zanzibar?
Yeah, I'll take the bottom left one.
Cool. Thunk?
I'll follow Solana.
Cool. Up to there. And then Isaiah?
Well, I'm normally blue, but that's
you are. Sorry, I made that mistake.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I will just go up there anyway.
Okay, cool.
Central.
Confusing to you, Ian. Sure enough, as they step around the far side of those frames, they do not appear inside of the frame as you're looking out at the forest.
Where'd everyone go? Guys!
We're here,
Ian. Still here.
We vanished. Oh.
Just peekaboo from the other side.
Zanzibar, you kind of gauge similar. As you approach this bottom left-hand one and look through, you can see Ian, and Ian, as you're kind of like in a moment of brief panic looking around yourself, do spot Zanzibar. This frame doesn't appear to lead anywhere.
Guys, I think I may have found our first gate. One what gate will, as you peer, show only what is real.
Hey Zanzibar, how about you give me an illusory
yes.
vase?
I'll do a little thing of flowers.
Okay. As you cast flowers through the portal, they do not appear in his hand.
Okay.
Nice.
That was a really good trick.
Well done.
Really good trick. Very, very brainy.
You guys on the north side, when you look through, you do see something slightly different. Sorry, give me a second. What have I done here? Oh no, I know what I'm doing. As you look through from the north side, you see the clearing like this. It is much more lush. You can see that the forest appears quite beautiful. The canopy overhead is separated enough to let sunlight through. And the other two archways, as you're just peering through, appear to be overgrown with kind of like small leafy plants instead of the roots, which go over the top. And then just quickly on the make them. What I want to do is this, and then this. As we come back to our normal clearing on the south side, looking through Alros, you see this looking through. You cannot see the other archways whatsoever, but you can see one that is in the center of the clearing instead of off to the side.
Right,
The
guys.
kind of vibe of the forest feels the same. It's still gloomy and overgrown.
Guys, I see another archway, but it could be an illusion or it could be
Where is
gate
it?
3. Why don't you guys come over and have a look and see for yourself? And I also cast Infestation through the portal just to see if anything happens.
Where specifically? Just to the other side, like here?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. As you do, you summon this swarm of flies and other vermin that kind of flip around in the air, but nothing happens.
Okay. Guys, what do you think?
Everybody going down to have a look?
Yes, I think if we all will sort of rustle down to the other end.
Yeah.
Cool.
Grown for circle back. But one gate grown for circle back stutter through.
Might have found our final gate, gang.
Yeah. And I think if we step through it twice, we'll either die with a swift demise or we'll make it to Edith.
Those odds.
Sorry, mate?
Those odds make me happy, but not.
You guys stepping through?
Well,
No, I'm not going through gate 3 in a hissy fit, no way.
So nothing
Ian will
happened.
poke his branch through the archway. What happens?
Nothing as you poke it through.
Can we send something living through there, like your little bird there, Alros? Will he make it through?
Yeah, no. We're not risking my familiar for this sort of exercise.
Oh, but he just appears out of nowhere, right? He just right?
I think what we may have to do is try and just remember where that fourth gate is and then try and sort of walk through it twice. You go through it once, circle back, and then go through again. Even though we can't see it, really, when we're not near it, we have to kind of remember and then try go through it twice, is my guess.
I think that's a good idea.
Try that.
Who wants to go first?
I'm willing
It's taking a
to.
few hits. If someone dies, might as well be the guy who's been a bit in already.
Yeah, all right,
Oh, okay.
you do you.
Wait, who's going through?
So we'll have.
Cool. So Thunk, you step through to here.
Oh,
No, don't go through there.
before
No,
Thumb
not
goes.
through the third gate.
Don't go through the third gate.
I'm going to walk
Just-
around
Yeah.
and go
Okay.
and sort of use Zanzibar's directions as to where
Right,
that fourth-
gotcha.
Where it is, yeah.
So you come around to there. So what you guys are seeing the fourth gate like that.
Yep.
But what Thunk is seeing is this as soon
Yep.
as he comes around the edge.
Yeah.
So,
and you get-
Sorry.
No, that's okay. You get guided through,
Yep.
kind of back and forth, around. Like everybody's like, no, this way, no, a little bit that way.
Nothing happens, right?
Nothing happens. It takes a while, but nothing happens, and you don't feel any different. Yeah.
Ooh,
I don't
that
think
was rolling around.
All I can suggest is that we try going through all three gates and then seeing if gate 4 appears, but gate 3 is pretty scary, so I don't know.
Just randomly, I'm gonna go wander over to gate 1, and then try to circle around it, walk through it, and circle around it. So bottom left gate, I believe.
Okay, cool. So you're going down here.
Yep, go through the gate.
Cool. When you go through and get to the other side, your friends disappear, but it otherwise looks the same. And then when you go back through again, your friends reappear.
Okay, not here, guys.
Ian will, seeing Alice go through that gate fine, disappearing for a moment, but coming back, Ian will do the same through gate 3 in front of us.
Okay, cool. As you step through gate 3, again, it disappears and becomes this. Again, nothing really changing. You still feel like you're going through the same archway. Get into this
I
point.
can see that archway now. Like,
Yeah. As you
can I do a walk around it and see what I see from the other side of it?
As you walk around it and then peer down to south from the north side, you don't see anything different. The thing that you notice about this archway is that it kind of is covered in what looks like this black kind of like strandy sort of silky substance. It looks like almost like hair, but it's pulled very, very tight, or silk, and it just kind of like the strands of it net up and over this entire archway.
Ooh.
You can see it even kind of hangs down a little bit from the top.
Is it taut and forms like, can I see through it at all?
You can see through it, yeah, absolutely. It doesn't like, it goes up the pillars of the archway and across the top. Cool. It is incredibly strong, and as you poke it with the branch, the branch kind of sticks to it for a few moments, and you've got to exert a bit of strength to be able to pull it back off.
I'll go back around and then back through the gate.
Down
3,
here?
I think that one was. Yeah.
Do you want to go around and go there through?
Oh yeah, sorry. I'd do the loop.
Cool. Yeah, and as you come back to this reality.
That was weird.
Oh,
There could be a fourth gate elsewhere that we haven't seen yet.
So just an FYI for you guys, you can continue to solve this as much as you want, or you can start rolling investigation checks. I know puzzles have different mileage with different players, so it is up to you. I don't say that to suggest that you should at all. Just in case anybody's sitting there going like...
Okay.
So just quickly out of character to not have to speak as Ian for the whole thing.
Sure.
So the last bit, but one gate grown with 4, circle back, step twice through. So how do we grow a gate with 4, which we don't have, but also looking through from the top gate made everything within here grow? So maybe if we somehow we go through the top gate, if everything within here is then lush, then we start playing with gate 1 and 2 again.
Yep.
Oh, 3, sorry.
Good idea.
Cool.
So if we walk through the top one, is everything still grown when we come out?
Yeah, absolutely. Walking through it, it's like walking into a new world. These frames they're almost like a filter, like holding cellophane over your face, That's kind of what it's like. And so as you walk through this, it's like the filter just goes all around you. And you can see that, each of these frames is grown with small clovers that just grow over the entire thing. Even the one behind you, as you kind of come through, you look back, and from this side of it, it appears like it is completely grown over with clovers.
Could we now look through gate 3, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Solana, what were you going to say as I send?
Can I...
Gate
sorry, you go.
4. So is that north gate? We've come through that and things have grown, so we can just circle back and step twice. This is more to the party.
Hold up, Solana. Sorry, just one thing. Since he mentioned clover and he mentioned 4, does any of the clovers appear to be 4-leaf clovers, or any of the arches covered in 4-leaf clovers?
It comes to Alros and Solana kind of at the same time. Zanzibar, coming down here, you look back through this frame and you see the kind of more dank... Oh, oops, sorry, bear with me. The sort of more dank reality again as you look through it, but you are still existing inside of the nice kind of overgrown.
Yep.
As Alros, you look at this frame, you can see that the bottom 2 ones grown with clovers all over them. They're all 3-leaf clovers, but this top frame is grown with 4-leaf clovers. And so as you come around and look back through it, Solana, what you are looking at is a clearing with no archways, but instead a cottage growing or sat on the middle of the island.
Wow, well done, guys. Seriously.
Well, let's do that.
Yeah, let's go.
We got there in the end.
Cool.
Pulls.
Not a stress. I am just going to move Oopsie daisy. The whole world is what I'm going to move.
Picking up Daisy.
There. Sorry, I just...
Yeah, as I just while we're waiting, can we just tune up? Can I borrow your loot just to tune? I think mine might be a bit out of tune. Can you just tune?
Borrow mine. It hasn't served me well. So borrow it, have a go, and give it back.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to tune my loot so it's like primo.
Alert you, Solana, as well. You've got a friend behind you.
It's my familiar.
Yes, but you're not allowed to have those. They're very distracted during riddle time to be watching this cat sort of prowling around and then attempting to jump places.
It's alright. I'm sure he'll probably come closer soon. Because he can tell that I'm not giving him attention, so.
Adorable.
Perfect, there we are. Thank you for vamping and bearing with me through that. As your party kind of come through, and when you get to the other side of that overgrown portal, you can see that it is indeed the archway behind you is gone. Not there at all. You come back out in the forest. The forest does once more kind of appear a little bit dank, a little bit kind of, you know, like it was in its previous form. But what you look at in front of you is this small cottage, no bigger than kind of 30 feet across, positioned in the very center of the clearing. The soil upon the island of the clearing, though, appears kind of more fertile, and grey beams of sunlight pierce through the canopy to touch the soft grass. There are two wildly growing vegetable, herb, and flower gardens springing to life on either side of this little hut, and you can see you can see that they're growing so lushly that they appear to almost threaten to consume the entire house. In the front garden, kind of like standing up as if she was kneeling in the garden and dusting herself off, is what at first appears to be an older woman. And she stands in the garden, looks at you guys. You can see there's no surprise on her face when she sees you. At first glance, Edith appears to be nothing more than an elderly woman who partially hides her face beneath a broad-brimmed straw hat and wears a soiled gardening apron. Her clothes are worn, but not ragged, and she wears wreaths and chains of fading flowers in place of jewellery. Slung from her shoulder is a laden satchel that appears to be attracting insects. Yet when Edith tips her hat back to inspect the party, you guys can see that she is definitely not a commoner, as Jackro Perpenimble suggested you would. Her eyes are a natural green colour, but they have slitted pupils, with which she scrutinises you guys with a lot of suspicion. Her ears pointed like an elf's or a gnome's, but they are stretched much longer than they should be and kind of forced flat beneath the brim of her hat. And you can see her fingers seem too thin and her hands too long, like articulate spiders. And as she stands up, mouth kind of twisted or her lips pressed together, she says quite simply, "Well, what do you want?"
Hello, Edith. My name is Ian.
I don't care.
Must be a normal person.
I want to know what you're doing here.
Well,
to ask you a few questions, Edith.
We've had a few people ask us to kill you.
But of course we wouldn't, because we know better that a wise woman should be respected and listened to. And you do come across as very wise, Edith.
Look. Sorry, go ahead, Isaiah.
No, I just go, and she's both wise and she's also a woman. So wise woman, both of those, respectful. We'll do that.
Yes.
Edith kind of like looks from one to the other of you. You can see when Ian, kind of almost innocently says, "We're here to kill you," or "A lot of people have told us that we're here to kill you," or "We should kill you." Her expression kind of twists, becomes quite ugly, but then she flicks those slitted eyes across to you, Zanzibar, when you speak to her, and says, So you've come with questions then.
Questions and potentially also to trade. We know that you do like to trade and barter. Perhaps it's high time that started again.
I don't trade with your kind anymore. You cheat. We haven't traded in a very long time.
Mercantile opportunities should
Hey, to
always
be
be
fair.
fostered and encouraged, and this is our chance to get that kind of bartering system again. Those that have cheated you in the past are long gone. It is a new generation now.
And to be fair, we are not necessarily all from the village itself. We are a bit of a different kind.
Not from the village. I just want to make that abundantly clear. I am not from the village. Just for everyone.
Have you heard of what was the band name again?
Oh, no, I'm sure. I'm going to step forward. I'm sure you've already heard of my name is Solana. I'm from the band Good Harlots. I'm sure you've heard of them. Look, we don't mean no harm. We're just here to get some of these beautiful apples so we can start our organic, farming. It's a thing we're doing called Farm to Plate. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's this new thing where we're trying to get organic produce to the people of the town. And, just thought you might be interested.
I forgot how loud your kind is.
Well,
Yes,
you haven't met me yet, so good luck.
She says, you're all the same. And 30 years may seem like a long time for you, but it's a blink of the eye for creatures like me. And you wouldn't come this far into the woods unless you were here for a greater reason. She kind of looks you guys all up and down, especially eyes on Ian and Thunk, probably, and says, you're not merchants.
At this stage, I will actually show her my signet ring and say, you must know of the Willow family. We are very successful merchants and we are actually from Woodhaven. You must remember our lineage in the past.
Cheaters like the rest of them. And thieves.
Oh, well, I'm sorry if that's happened in the past. What
Now,
brought
I
you to
don't
this part of-
appreciate...
Sorry. Yeah, you talk.
do not appreciate being called a liar or a thief. I live very honestly and do business with the utmost integrity.
That's what you believe. And the
I would
thieving.
I would like you to prove me otherwise.
I will
And he
quite
kind of
kindly.
starts to, flex and pose a little bit.
Okay. You can see that she has no, as you flex and pose, she just kind of looks you up and down again. She's vaguely wary, but she's not threatened. And she says, the thieving is not in the past. You do it constantly. Taking from these woods, killing animals, cutting trees. You ask not for permission, but do it willfully. Both of your settlements. So tell me, what was it? What tragedy befell you? What did the tokens wrought?
Hang on a minute. You said both of your settlements.
Yes.
So probably
You.
the savages.
Yeah, that is what she's referring to. She says, you that live behind your wooden wall, and those that live in the caves like mice.
So I'm in awe of this figment of legend. And Edith, did you make those trinkets? Did you hand them out into the townsfolks?
Of course I did. It wasn't even hard.
Aww.
Just hid myself as a bird, or a merchant, or a
Girls selling
pigeon.
necklaces.
I am very sad to hear that, and Ian gets his great axe out.
Now, settle down, peoples. Let's not be hasty.
So you caused the blood spittle plague?
The what?
The plague that's killing people in town.
Is that what it is, a plague? Not what I would have designed, but it will do. No, I did not cause the plague. My tokens bring bad luck. They bring calamity as an inevitability, but this plague, tell me, is it awful? Is it terrible?
No,
Very sad.
I think this is enough for me.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna thinking about attacking now. Any last calls before I make an attack?
Well, I mean, let's just have a think about what she's saying here. She cares. She's a caretaker for her forest, and she feels that her forest is being taken advantage of by the city folk, which is actually us in this case. And she's defending her forest in her way against the people who are harming her forest. She's in a way, she's kind of a weird druid. I don't think we should necessarily attack someone for doing what they think is right in a bizarre way.
She has killed many members of our community.
Don't care.
No, I don't think she has actually. She's given
This
these
plague
trinkets,
has
but
killed our village.
yes, but I don't think she caused the plague.
She handed out the trinkets, admitted freely from her own lips.
And it's caused bad luck that's brought on the plague.
Yeah, but
Matt.
I find it hard to believe that her trinkets are actually capable of doing anything like a plague, quite frankly.
But
I think it might
she
lead
wants
to
to
a
do
bad
it.
haircut, for instance, or it might lead to, your favourite dress ripping or something like that. And I am saying this from my, my wizardly studies. I think that what she has done is she's an amazing woman, but I don't think she's capable of being behind this plague.
No. I'm hoping that the plague was the cause or the result.
Yes, I understand that, you do like to sow discord as a form of punishment. But as someone who has spent many years studying history and the history of this village and at school in my past, I think you're just misguided and largely ineffectual, to be honest.
As the whole conversation is happening, I just get my lute out, and this is just going to start to play. I'm not sure if you can hear it.
Nice.
Cool.
So that's in the background because this is going to happen.
Edith, what would it take to satisfy you not to continue to take revenge upon the village?
Lift the curse. Give us the apples, or this will turn ugly.
You get nothing from me. No apple, nothing. You understand? You great brute.
I would like to
She
rage.
seems quite perturbed at that. Are you going into an attack?
I will... Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of feeding off Arlos, so if it looks like the shit is about to drop down. Also, Thunderstruck in the background. That was a very good music choice. Yeah, I'm ready to throw down on this lady.
I'm going to reach down into the mud. and put
Zanzibar,
right
though,
some
could probably
mud
talk me
straps.
out of it.
Think about how it went with the savage folk and how we actually ended up better out of the situation than it could have actually been worse. And now
They didn't cause this, and he's like white knuckled on his axe,
but
which
they
just
did
BT
do
dubs
something
is two
wrong.
big straight blade razors, like for shaving your face, but like massive.
But they did terrible, terrible things, and we turned them around because we believe in our village and we believe in working together. So
Zanzibar.
They did it out of desperation. This
Zanzibar.
woman seems to do it for the mere pleasure of watching us suffer and die.
she does enjoy punishment through nasty suffering. Sorry, Edith, were you trying to say something?
When you said that, I was like, Edith is me. It took me a second. I was like, I was playing Edith. Yeah, when you mention whether or not you feel that it was a demand or not, she seems to take the request for apples as if you're demanding it, and that does seem to, like, these apples, they mean something to her, as she kind of like snaps about them. Then she goes quiet again, and you can see that she's standing in her garden, kind of just looking at you, Ian. She doesn't seem frightened of you whatsoever. She's almost like bring it on, but she hasn't made any of that sort of gesture. With presumably, I'm just gonna on the grid here assume we're sort of this position, sort of roughly. Tell me if I'm incorrect about any of this.
I might be next to Ian because I'm just going to sort of hold him back and just say, she may not be worth it just yet.
Zanzibar, do you want to? Oh, sorry, go on.
We went through that basilisk swamp just fine. This may be a bit above our pay grade, just.
She
I have lost friends.
She is far more powerful than us, I'm pretty sure.
All of us
Zanzibar, do you want to make an
Wise
offer?
experience.
Do you want to see if we can trade, or if she can offer her to ask permission before we use the forest, and in exchange for the apples?
Yeah, well, do you want to maybe try having talk to her too? Maybe you
I'm like, yeah. Edith, do you want, if we ask permission to use the forest, which I use too, would you lift the curse and help the village with your apples that apparently are amazing?
We have lots of manure. Lots. Really good for
And
forest
offal.
orchards. We have so much shit in our village, you wouldn't believe it.
And liver.
And I'll just sort of go down. I'll go down and grab some of the fertilizer she's got and sort of eat it. Start eating the fertilizer. not the same quality that we've got in our old wood egg.
make a Constitution save.
Oh. Why do I have to play idiots?
She kind of like stands back and says, "You don't understand
17.
at all." 17.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, you are not
Understand.
poisoned by the manure. She kind of mutters that under her breath, and then she says, "Tell you what, we can begin negotiations again, and you will recommence the offerings. Everything you take from the forest, you give a portion back."
That sounds good to me. That sounds like a good trade.
But my
What?
feelings are hurt.
Oh. That's
How
very
good.
Well, I
Yeah.
apologize.
I
about-
need a recompense.
okay.
Well, what
I could
kind of
give you a
recompense can
haircut.
I?
How much does it cost?
She
We
wants
just go back to
pumpernickel.
getting, right?
She wants jackroll.
There
She
is
wants
a
jackroll.
certain pest that is also after my apples.
No.
Bring me his feet,
Oh,
severed from his body, and we'll
One life
recommence
sounds good to me.
trade.
Solana's gonna go and tap Ian on the shoulder. Ian, did you hear what she said about you? She said you have the dexterity of a rhino and only half the looks.
No, she didn't.
What's a
I'm
rhino?
pretty sure she did under her breast. Go, get in there.
Now, I will bow to the wisdom of Zanzibar, but you heard her, Zanzibar. She has not cared about the plight of our village. She has willingly brought this curse upon us, and now when we offer trade for these apples, she demands tribute, and she demands the pain, suffering, and possible death of another creature in kind.
Yeah, that's not cool. So-
No, it is not.
Yeah, Edith, I mean, mate, I know you've got this thing going on with this little sprite guy, and, you know, he's got lots of useful bits about him, but that's a squabble between you and him. We can't get involved. There must be some other way that we can, you know, make your feelings feel better.
There is one. You have to think of it because I am tired of discussing this. She starts to kind of walk towards the back of the hut.
I could give her a little off the top and sides, if you know what I'm saying, guys. Wink.
Yeah. Go, Ian, go. I think that's exactly what she needs. And I'm gonna keep playing Thunderstruck even louder. Go. This is
Let's do it, guys. Let's raise some hell.
Roll for initiative.
All right, yeah. Can I rage before initiative happens, or do I have to do that first turn?
You have to do it first turn. If you were to rage
that's fine.
beforehand, you'd lose
Yeah,
it
yeah.
straight away.
Do we do the inner join thing? No? Okay.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, in it join. Sorry. I have to start on an initiative first. That's
so I think you
why.
got it.
Yeah.
Oh, I do,
Exclamation, can it join?
I'm sorry,
Uh,
Edith. The others have spoken. There's no rescuing this situation.
Give me half a second. I just quickly need to bring up my Avray bot commands.
Can we,
Bear
can we
with
still
us,
count
people on
our players
stream.
back to 20, please?
Appears to be already a combat, so maybe And the
Nah, it'll be mixed in with everything else. From the previous session. We will unfortunately have to re-roll initiative. I apologize.
24 doesn't
Kill.
go.
Hold up. I've got to start the combat. In it begin, I think it is.
Starting my own version of Thunderstruck in the background.
There we go.
Oh, that's terrible.
There's
Whoa.
18 difference between the last roll.
Wow.
Uh,
Oh, Ian. Nice one, Ian.
Why did they not go in? Okay, give me a second. In it begin, I'm mad. Okay, cool. What I'm going to do, just to save myself scrolling up and I can't quite work this out, is I'm just going to roll manual initiative and I'll take your guys' initiative down here. Cool. That was that. So I have Ian first.
20?
Yep. Then I have Zanzibar. Zanzi. Then I have Cool. At 9. I have Solana. Thank you for people on Twitch enjoying this fine loading screen we have. Then I have Alros. Then I have Isaiah. And last but not least, we have Thunk. Cool. All right. As you guys begin to attack and start to form up, Edith kind of stepping away, the living plants in her garden suddenly spring to life as you guys pull out your weapons, and it is going to attack the closest thing to it, which is the wizard.
Oh, crap.
Oop.
That attack is going to hit, and I want to get rid of a couple. I've got a few too many windows.
What kind of attack is it? Because I might cast shield as a reaction depending on what it is.
You won't be able to cast shield because because it was not recognized as a combatant. It's irrecognizable while it's motionless. It gets a surprise round, so you're not able to do a reaction in a surprise round. There are my things. And then it is going to do a total of... it's going to do 13 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ouch.
And you become grappled and restrained by it. As these vines kind of like shoot out from the ground. I'm going to twist you upside down so we know that you're grappled and restrained. And they basically hold you there in place, restricting up, clutching your arms kind of close to yourself. And you quite surprised by this as they shoot out seemingly from nowhere. In fact, you can see like almost her whole garden springs to life and starts moving. There is a central mass to it, but a lot of the plants, like their roots just kind of erupt up out of the ground. And Edith, you can see, she kind of like gives a glance over her shoulder, but seems to be bustling off away. That ends the surprise round of the plants, bringing us into the initiative order, starting with Ian.
I would like to rage.
Cool, no stress.
And I pull my axe out and I'm like running forward to attack Edith, but I see Zanzibar get caught up by all these plants and stuff. So I'll just hack into them first, but I will move in between Zanzibar and Edith if I am able to do that.
Yep, 5, 10, 15 to there. Yep, so you're within 5 feet of the plant if you want to make an attack there.
Yeah. Ooh. Crit.
Nice. That is definitely going to
total
hurt
of
the plant.
19 damages and run in.
Cool, not a stress. You run in, you do find the ground more difficult as you move into the garden. So you're sort of going 5 feet to there. That movement is 15, that to there is 25. And as you smack this plant with your great axe, it slices down through the kind of like central shrub, severs sort of like a portion of the plant and kind of cleaves it in two. But the plant is not destroyed entirely by it, although it is a mighty blow to be sure, as it kind of cleaves this thing almost
You'll
in
need
half
a good trim
down the center. Any other movement you could make? If you got 40 feet of movement, or still only 30 at level 4?
I still think just 30, but yeah, no, that's fine. I'm getting
Cool,
in front
stay
of
there.
Zanzibar.
Cool, no stress.
Did the vines release Zanzibar?
They did not, no. They contain their grip on Zanzibar. Bringing us to Zanzibar. Still grappled and restrained, so you have no movement. I think you have disadvantage on attack rolls, but otherwise you're kind of fine to cast spells, as it's assumed you can still do your incantations.
Do I feel like I'm at risk of getting more damage if I stay where I am?
You do. These as these vines kind of like wrap around you, you can feel them constricting. You definitely feel like you're in danger here.
Yeah, so I call upon the gift to all wizards, which is the ability to flee through magic. And I start sort of whispering into the air and sort of rushing a sort of an airy blow from my mouth, and as I do, I suddenly disappear from my spot. And I step 30 feet away. In sort of like a misty sort of mist as I disappear and then reappear, maybe like 4 steps back or something. Just
Away,
behind,
so north?
Yeah, north. Yeah, just a bit behind everyone else. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, cool. No stress.
That's it. Thanks. I think that's all I can do, to be honest.
No, Misty Step's a bonus action if that's the spell you were casting.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You're right.
You can cast a cantrip, you just can't cast another spell.
Yep. Okay. Well, I might cast Ray of Frost, because, which I've never done these spells before. Sorry.
That's okay. Where do you want to cast it?
I'll cast it. I am reluctant to attack her, but let's see how else does it go. I'll attack the tree.
Okay, cool. No stress. So cast exclamation cast Ray of Frost should do it in Avray.
A whole 1 damage, but still. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Still, it has an effect. What does the casting look like of Ray of Frost?
It's a ray, and it's blue, and it's very shiny. And it's just like this ribbon of icy energy that's determined to freeze everything in its path. And the tree when it's hit should sort of start becoming sort of very brittle and cold and sort of almost again blue just where it's hit.
Yeah, okay, and it does. It sort of starts to freeze up. You just in the franticness of escaping through Misty Step and then regrouping yourself to cast the Ray of Frost, just don't quite hit the plant right in the space where you'd want to hit it. Cool. Ending Zanzibar's turn, bringing us to Solana. What would you like to do for your turn?
Okay, I would like to... I'm going to start by casting Tasha's Hideous Laughter at her. And I'm going to say, "Oi, Edith, why do the witches always wear the hats so big to hide their ugly faces?" And that's got to have a DC. Oh, sorry. Do you want me? I should cast that, shouldn't I? Or do you just want me to look at the DC?
What is the spell save DC?
It is for spell save 13.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm just having a quick read of the spell. I just want to double check something. Cool. No, that is totally fine.
You can try that. No, it doesn't work.
Cool. She does succeed the save. She is not amused by your hilarious joke. She just kind of grimaces at you over her shoulder as she continues to step away.
Okay. With that, then, as my bonus action, I'm going to use my Mantle of Inspiration. To inspire whoever's closest to me. So that looks like Thunk and who's above me? There's Alros above me.
Just above you is Zanzibar.
Sorry. So yeah, I'm going to Zanzibar, Thunk, and I'll inspire my fellow bard, because as a bard you don't really get to feel inspired very often, so because we're always giving it, you know. And to inspire them, I'm going to sing, she's a bitch, she's a plover, she is wild, makes you shudder, she's a sinner and a saint, we're gonna make her pay. And we're gonna get inspired to take her down.
Cool, no stress.
And that is me done.
All
I'm
right,
gonna stay where I am and just try and look really brave.
Cool. Alros.
All right, I'm going to move towards the melee, or towards where Ian is.
Cool. So you move
30.
5 feet to there, 10, 15 to there. And then getting to there is 25 feet. It's twice movement because you're going into the garden. Is that where you want to be?
Yep, that's fine.
Perfect.
And I am going to cast Eldritch Blast at the witch, at
Okay,
Edith.
cool. Make an attack roll. Or cast.
Cast.
Yeah, exclamation mark.
Yeah.
What does the Eldritch Blast look like as you cast it?
Eldritch Blast looks like a purple hand reaching out with lightning coming out and striking towards her.
Okay, cool. No stress. It definitely impacts with a 20 on the roll, or dirty 20, and hits her. You have, what is your charisma modifier? Because I know that you've got Agonizing Blast.
Yeah, which is a +3, but charisma on the left somewhere, a +3.
Okay, cool. So doing 4 points of damage in total. They impact into Edith. You can see that she kind of tries to. She sees you coming up and casting, and then as that bolt of blue energy kind of arcs towards her, she almost like tries to Yoda catch it into her palm, but she just can't contain it, and it kind of blows outwards from there and appears to sort of burn her on her hand. You see her kind of like she's shaking her hand as if it's burnt her, but she doesn't seem totally harmed by it yet. Is that where you want to end your turn?
Yeah.
Cool. That brings us to her. She is going to move 5 feet across to there, and you can see that she is not hindered by her garden at all. She just kind of like shuffles across, and the roots and branches and things lift out of the way. Then she points forward at a space in front of her, and you guys kind of see her quickly incanting something as a ball of flaming fire appears right in the space in front of you guys, and it is going to move sideways. It's going to go 5, bam, and rush. This fire rushes into Thunk. Thunk, I need you to make a dex save. You have advantage on this for danger sense.
Yeah, I read that. I will take that 15, and not that natural one.
Cool, no stress. You managed to get out of the way, I believe, of the worst of it. Yes, you get higher than her spell save DC. As she kind of, draws like patterns in the air, you can see that as she moves her hands, trails of flame kind of trail her finger, and then this ball of flame kind of ignites out of nowhere, rushes towards you. You see it approaching, dart to the side. You only take 5 points of fire damage as you were able to get out of the way of the worst of it. But standing right next to it, you can feel how hot that fire is kind of burning right next to you. Solana, you also can feel it from where you are, threatening to burn you. As she then goes 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and just kind of disappears down the side of the house, and you can hear, I'm gonna get him. As she disappears, bringing us to Isaiah. What would you like to do, Isaiah?
Well, I would. I would like to pull out my rapier and run up to the closest bush and stab it in the face.
Cool. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, up to there. Make an attack with the rapier. Cool. You realize when you get up to that bush with a 7 on the result, that's not going to hit. And when you get there, it doesn't have a face. And you're like,
What?
my plan foiled, unfortunately. With no idea what to strike towards, you strike at nothing.
Fair enough. Well, and doing that, I sort of hoptail a little bit back, sort of diagonally up to the top right, not near the fire.
You wouldn't be able to move any further just because you used your full movement to get down to there. Yeah.
So I double check.
No, all good. That's okay. Cool. Bringing us to Thunk.
We got to deal with this bush first, right? So I'm going to go, I guess.
Go for the witch. If you go for the witch, go for the witch. Don't worry about the bush.
Yeah.
Get the witch.
Get the witch. Burn.
Okay, I'm going to go around that border of it to try and basically avoid the garden bed then.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, with every second diagonal being 10 feet instead of 5.
And okay, it's been not very versed at throwing javelins because barbarian, but if I throw my javelin with rage, does that still count, or it's only melee, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It is. You'll still keep your rage. You won't lose. So you could rage, and you won't lose the rage. But I don't think you can attack recklessly, and I don't think you get your rage damage for it because it needs to be melee.
Okay, yeah.
I'll just quickly double check on those. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'll bonus actually rage just to soak up any hits.
Yep.
And as I'm running, I'll pull out sort of put the great axe behind me and throw out a javelin and just one smooth movement, just javelin throw at her.
Yeah, cool. Absolutely. Go for the attack roll.
Like Brad Pitt in Troy.
Yes. How do you do this again? Attack. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Perfect. 16 does hit her.
Oh, that's a good.
9 damage.
9 damage, not a small amount of damage as it impacts into her. Kind of, she turns around to look at you, and as you throw that javelin out, it sails towards her. It's a good throw. You can see that she again puts out a hand as if she's going to like try and just block this javelin in midair, and it penetrates into her hand. It does get deflected off and kind of flies off at an angle, but you can see the blade at the end of the javelin cut into her hand. You see that there is a spray of red blood, and again she kind of like recoils in pain, draws her hand back up to herself. You can see that there's blood pouring down the side of her. You can see that while she's trying to use kind of like fickle magic to deflect these blows, she's not succeeding at doing so, at least not entirely. Is that your...
That's being done.
Cool, no stress. Brings us back up to Ian.
Ian will, I guess, attack the plant, but he'll move around it. Oh, actually, he'll attack it first. So.
Okay, cool, no stress.
Doing some gardening, weeding.
Yeah.
Pruning with his scissors.
15 to hit for 11 damage.
Wow.
Yes, that will hit. Plant's still not quite destroyed at the end of it. You definitely kind of like reduce it down. Like, you know, there's bits of plant flying up in the air as you're kind of pruning around it. But notice that like there's still bits of it like moving around and curling and coiling on the ground, so you don't feel it's quite defeated yet.
And I'll move as far as I can towards the corner of the house that she ran past.
Cool. 10, 20, 30 to there.
Can we see the orchard from where we are?
You cannot, no. You see no apples or no orchard around you.
Okay.
First
thing I'll do is just move so I can actually see her. So I'll just move to the east.
Yep.
Go a few steps.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
Yep,
Bring you within...
Oh, I can only move 25, can't I?
Yes,
Sorry,
indeed.
I forgot that. I'm used to doing
No, that's all right. I would have let you go one more if you hadn't said anything.
That's all good. I'm not used to playing in the hero gnome, so it's all new. So can I see her? Because I can't see her myself looking at this screen, so I'm just presuming... Oh, there she is, okay. Yeah. And I can't see the orchard anywhere either, can I?
No, looking around, you don't see, like, on this island, off this island, like, in the clearing around you, you don't see any apples, no.
I'll call it, Edith, your only chance is to surrender. and then I will attack her.
Cool.
And I will attack her with Witch Bolt, actually.
Okay. Cool. No
So I'll
stress.
cast that.
Make an attack roll for me.
Oh, that failed. Okay, I'll just roll for a 1d12, I guess.
Yeah, no
I'll roll
stress.
for an
Do
attack.
that.
How do I roll for an attack? I can't remember.
If you go !roll, do 1d20, but then you could do plus your spellcasting modifier.
So that's 14 to hit.
14 does hit her as you cast out the Witch Bolt, and then I believe it's 1d12 if it was cast at first level.
Yeah.
4 points of damage as that impacts into her, and you can see her again. That brings her down to that. She tries to kind of catch it and does not, and instead this kind of like connects to her Surge's upper arm. You can see that it's connected to her, and she's kind of crying out, kind of through gritted teeth.
Surrender, Edith. And that's it for me, thanks.
Cool, no stress. As that happens, this ball disappears. Cool. I am terrible at rolling concentration saves. Cool. Ending Zanzibar, bring us to Solana.
I am going to make myself invisible, first of all. Just without telling anyone, I'm just going to go cast invisibility on myself.
Yep.
And then I am going to use my full 30 feet. I can't see on the left of the map, the cottage, is it the same, is it any wider on the left-hand side? As in, could I run around and flank her in about the same distance? Or I won't know yet. I won't know how big the cottage is.
It looks fairly large. Like, if you can see, I'll just ping it on the left side of the map from where you are. Yeah. That's kind of where the corner of it is.
Yeah,
so,
but I don't know how deep it goes.
Correct, more or less. It doesn't look like it's huge, like, to give you... You probably know that it's, at least, 30 feet or 20 feet, I think that is kind of what, deep around this side.
Yeah.
You think it's probably the same unless there's like, a sunroom or something on the other side?
Getting out. That's okay. I might stay, I might not break the cardinal rule and not split the party. I will stick on that side then just to be safe and just use my full 30 feet of movement to get just as far around as I can.
Cool.
Avoiding the garden as much as possible.
20, 25, 30, around to there.
Yeah, and then perfect. As my bonus action, no, because previous with Mantle of Inspiration, that just gave people 5 HP. So, seeing as my friend Thunk is there in front of me as well, I'm just going to, as invisible for my bonus action, I'm going to give Thunk some more inspiration, but I'm going to whisper in his ear about just inspiring words like, you can do it, I believe in you, but in lots of different voices. So it's a little bit freaky, but it's, nice.
Who said that?
You can do it, I believe in you, it's your mother, that kind of thing.
I never knew my mother.
And that's me done. That's me done.
Okay, cool. No stress. That is going to bring us to Alros.
Yep. I'm going to run far towards the right so I can get her back in my eyesight or in my range.
10, 20, 30. Coming to there, again, being difficult terrain. Actually, let me give you a little bit more benefit of the doubt. Let's go 5 out of the garden. Yep. 10, 15, 20 to there.
Yep. That's fine. And I plan to cast Chill Touch at Edith. So
cool.
Let me see if it works. Where is...
Nope, that definitely works.
So an eldritch pale white hand comes out of nowhere and grips her behind the neck.
Cool, no stress.
Hopefully.
Definitely does grab onto her. 18 definitely hits her, and you can see it kind of her body seizes up. She looks back at you guys. She's absolutely furious at this having happened. But you can see all of you kind of hitting her with something different begins to kind of freeze her up a little bit, and she starts to not move so quickly.
Give up now.
Cool.
And that's it.
Cool. that brings us to Edith. She looks back at you guys. She is obviously very, very upset. And as a result, she starts to cast another spell. And the ground down around you starts to erupt into vines, thorns, different things kind of growing up around you, filling not a small space. What would that be? Ooh, no, that one I want to put on the other side. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Bear with me. This is a big spell as these vines start to grow out. That would be... I've already got one there.
Oh, that's a big AoE.
Yeah.
Concentration check.
And then...
Wow.
All right. I think that's all of them, as just the ground around you guys erupts into absolute chaos. Becomes very difficult to move, but on top of that, the vines that grow up are covered in very, very sharp protrusions and thorns that do threaten to kind of pierce and penetrate through your armor and clothing as you stand on top of these things. Then she is going to disappear. She's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, and she breaks the witch bolt, unfortunately, as you have broken line of sight with her. Disappears back there. And then also the plant is going to act on its turn, and it is going to attack. It's going to attack our good friend Isaiah, being right next to it. As that whips out, he's not going to hit Isaiah. You see as these like thorny growths move all around you, you're probably already moving pretty quickly, trying to avoid those. And as this kind of sluggish, what's left of this plant behind by Ian doesn't really manage to wrap its vines around you. It's almost more of a nuisance. You just sort of bat it away rather than getting caught up in it. That is going to end Edith's turn. That is going to bring us to Isaiah. Isaiah, what would you like to do?
Well, I can't. She's disappeared.
She's disappeared around the side of the house, yeah. So you can't see where she's gone to.
Okay, but our friend, the plant is still in front of us.
It is, yes.
All right. Well, I would like to whack the plant with my sword.
Cool. Make an attack roll.
Alrighty.
The suspense is killing me.
Kill 25, 11. That is enough. As this thing kind of starts to wrap around you, you know, you use your sword to just basically bat it away, and that is enough to destroy it. It stops moving pretty quickly after that.
And as a bonus action, I like to gesture to my friend Zanzibar, who looks a little bit worse for wear, having been gripped by a thing. Is that right?
Yes, I'm not feeling too well at all. I'm probably feeling about half the person I usually feel.
I'd like to give you a little bit back, and I'd like to heal you. I'd like to be like, soft, sweet nothings in your ear. Do I cast that?
Is it inspiration?
No, it's a spell, healing word.
Oh, yes, yeah. You could hit exclamation mark cast, healing word. Or you could do roll 1d4. Cool. Healing 6 points.
Thank you, my good man. I feel so much better for that. I feel half my age.
Have some words of healing.
I can feel the light flow through me. From
Never going to give you up.
I'm never going to let you down.
I'm never going to let you down or hurt you.
Gold, guys, gold.
Chill.
Thank you very much.
All right, that brings us. That was Isaiah to Thunk.
In response, I'm going to run around. So first, just I guess, even though there's plants, with no hesitation, just run forward.
All right.
So
You step forward to there, and as you move through, you become. It is difficult terrain, so that's 10 feet just to get to there. You do find yourself being kind of gripped up and tearing. These thorns kind of like tear into you. You take 4 points of piercing damage, but it is halved down to 2 because you're raging. Would you like to continue running forward?
I will keep going.
Cool. You go 20 feet to there. You take another 6 points of piercing damage, halved to 3. And then assuming you do another one to there for 30 feet.
Yep.
You take another 3 points of piercing damage, halved to 1. As you kind of like pull yourself out of this area, you look completely torn to shreds. Being that you're raging, you probably don't really care all that much. Do you guys know, is your movement speed listed as 40 for the barbarians? I'm just trying to remember.
No, it's still just 30.
It's still just 30. Cool. I did ask that
We
before.
don't get that yet, yeah.
Cool. All
Unfortunately.
right, no stress. So that is 30 feet to there. Do you want to dash or do you want to stay where you are?
Why not? I'm dashing.
Go. Dashing into the free square, you're now free of that, of the grasping sort of thorny vines. Going 5 feet to there, 10 feet to there. I'm just going to zoom out here. 10, 15, 20, and you come around the corner and see... and she has completely changed into this massive, wyvern-like draconic creature and whispers, "Run, little commoner."
I'm gonna go back the other way, guys. There's a dragon. There's dragon.
Cool, you get back to there with the rest of your dash as you go back around the corner.
Oh, damn.
Cool. Ending Thunk's turn, still raging, thanks to the damage dealt by the thorns. Bringing us to Ian.
Yeah, not looking super happy. So all this stuff's grown up around us, or is it just like thorny on the grounds?
It has kind of it has grown up, like all those patches where you see the kind of tannish, brownish kind of tumbleweeds are the spaces that are affected, and it's definitely a magical effect. They kind of erupt up and begin to curl around.
I will dash. I'll run down towards Thunk.
This way?
Yep.
Cool. Can you make for me... actually, no, you don't need to make a check. It's just straight up. So 10 feet to there. You take 5 halved to 2 points of piercing damage.
Cool.
And then second diagonal going 20 feet to there. Or you could go, because it's difficult terrain in the garden, you could go 20 feet to there.
No, I'll get out of the difficult terrain, please.
Cool. 20 feet to there.
Yep. And then move past Thunk.
Cool. Another 10 feet, so that's 30 feet to there.
Would I be able to see it from there?
Probably not, to be honest. It would have... Yeah, I'm going to say no, just because of the angle.
Oh, I'll dash and continue forward. Like, Thunk, why did you stop?
10, 15...
Oh shit, it's a dragon!
30... sorry, where were you? You were there. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Cool, that brings you within 5 feet as she turns on you, kind of...
Then in my frenzy, I'll use a bonus action to attack.
Very nice. Go for it. Cool.
30,
20 definitely hits.
Damage.
You come running up to her. Oops, that will take her down to that. She opens up her wings kind of defiantly, and as you come running up, sink the battle axe into her. You find that she is scaled now. She kind of looks like this dark brown kind of creature. This dark, almost like some sort of swampy. I suppose not too dissimilar to the swamp basilisk. So punching the axe through does take a bit of strength, but Ian
I've
absolutely
got
has that strength in bucket loads, so managed to punch through. And yeah, there's a spray of like this sickly black blood that kind of comes out of her chest area where you've struck.
She still bleeds. Come help, friends.
Cool. That will bring us to Zanzibar. If we move back up here, what would you like to do?
We're still being sort of affected by the plant stuff, aren't we?
Absolutely. Actually, that's a good question.
Ooh, concentration roll.
I suck at these. You are not being affected by the plants anymore, as she kind of shakes her head from that axe blow, mighty as it was. Let me go through here quickly, try not to delete any player characters by accident. What is it you'd like to do on your turn?
Yep, I'll cast Misty Step so that I can move forward 30 feet to in the direction of where all the drama is happening.
Yep, no stress. Let me grab you and you can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Do you want to go to there just so you're not in the difficult terrain?
Yes, please. I can only move 25. Oh, no, that's right. I'm doing Misty Step.
Misty Step, yeah.
Then if I can't still see the action, I'll actually then move.
Yep,
as
cool.
Well. Sort of kind of to the right a bit if I can, just so I'm not too close. But
5, 10, 15.
Yep, I can see it from there, can't I?
Yeah, maybe go 20 to there just to get a real clear look at her.
Sure, and then I'll sort of dig deep inside myself and sort of feel that icy disappointment I have in this situation, this foolish confrontation that we're having, and I'm really annoyed with Edith for being such a jerk, really. And I transform that icy disappointment into a ray of frost.
Cool. Go for the cast. Perfect. There we go. Kill hits her, does that much. You can see just the sheer size of her now. As you throw out the ray of frost, the amount of damage that it does is not a terrible large amount. It just kind of like freezes like a small portion of her. It's not so much the failing of the spell casting as it is just she's obviously changed herself into something quite large and threatening now. So the 2 points of damage, not nothing, and you can see that it does kind of like hinder her slightly as she tries to, like move her muscles against the area that's been frozen. But not that hard, like she doesn't turn her head towards you or anything like that.
And I'll just call out, Edith, this isn't going to go your way. Surrender so that we can try to move forward from here.
Cool. Brings us to, that was Zanzibar, Solana. Up here and invisible.
Yeah, so still with my, just my full 30 feet down.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Yeah, and I'm going to tap Thunk on the wrong shoulder just for lols as I go past invisible. And
What?
5, 10, 15. Am I 5, 10, 15, 20? Or I'll ask, am I 30 feet within 30 feet of range? Depending if you count, well, does the foot count? Because if I count 30 feet, I might get the foot.
Let me just, I'm just making our party members disappear to check your line of sight.
Oh, yeah.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25. No, you'd be outside of 30 feet of her.
Buttons. That's okay. Then, you know what? I'm going to use my bonus action to dash and just continue to go up towards her. If I can get, I guess, to on not directly in front of her, to the side or getting towards the back of her. But
sort of around. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Beautiful.
Let me 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, kind of around like that.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Beautiful. Yeah.
All right.
And yeah, you guys can't see it, but I've got a really cool fighting stance on because I'm ready to take this down.
I think someone's nearby in a really cool fighting stance. My danger sense is tingling.
That's me.
Cool. All right, that brings us to Alros.
My friendly party members mentioned that I can use my familiar to extend my visual range to cast spells.
Yeah, you can cast spells from your familiar.
Right, okay, cool. So if I can get my familiar to land on top of the roof of the cottage, so I can cast spells without really needing to move far from the other side of town.
What did you say your familiar was? It was like a small bird?
Small bird.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
There we go. Cool, let's say it's got a move, just without looking at the stats, I think it'd probably have a movement of like 40, 50, maybe even 60 feet. So yes, it can make that as it goes flying off there. Perches on the top. You can't see it, but trust me, it looks great. Where it is. Cool.
Yep, and I'm going to cast a witch bolt at the dragon-like thing.
Okay, cool, no stress. Make an attack roll for me.
Cast.
Yep, cast Space Witch Bolt. Yeah, for some reason it doesn't like Witch Bolt. That's okay. Go roll 1d20 plus your spell attack bonus.
Spell attack bonus. Where would I find that?
It'll be on the spell sheet, which I think is the last sheet in the characters towards the top. It'll be like a +6, probably.
Got a plus. Oh, that's +5.
Okay, cool. No stress.
Yeah, and just space +5 or +5. Yeah.
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep. Perfect. 21. That'll definitely hit. And then you can do. So you're a warlock, so you do 2d12 because it's cast at 2nd level.
Nice.
Cool, doing 11 points of damage total. That definitely seems to... Oops. Is that what I want to do? Yeah, that'll bring it down to that. Definitely seems to impact onto her. Is it that... what did you say before? Like blue energy again?
This one's going to be like the Emperor, so be it, Jedi.
Cool.
And zap her with lightning.
Okay, cool. No stress as you... this bird sits up the top and fires lightning from itself down at her. Do you want to do any movement yourself?
Yeah, I'll move down 30 as well. Yeah.
Cool. 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 30. Getting to there. I'm going to get rid of that little plant. Cool. Ending Alros's turn, bringing us to Edith. She, standing where she is, kind of opens up her wings, breathes in, and expels a shoot of fire that travels in a straight line. I need Zanzibar and I need Ian to make dexterity saves for me.
Do I get advantage? Can I see this coming?
You do. You have danger sense, absolutely. And if this was a video game, she is flagging this attack massively. Or signposting. Cool. I want these 2 dice. Cool. What did we get, Ian?
18.
Okay. You take that is you take 7 points of fire damage. And Zanzibar?
I got 13.
Okay, cool. You take 14 points of fire damage.
Ouch.
And you are ignited by that flame as you catch fire. I'm going to grab this one and just put that on your animation so that we remember that. Cool. And then after shooting out that jettison of flame, she opens her wings and starts to fly. Ian, will get an attack of opportunity against her.
I was looking up the rules for it, but I guess it's down to the DM. Can I jump on her as my attack of opportunity?
I would say probably not. You wouldn't have the time in a reaction window.
No probs. Only 9 to hit.
Cool, that does not hit. As the gust of wind that she produces kind of blows you backwards momentarily, and then she lands on the other side of the house and says hello to Isaiah, whose turn it is right now.
Fuck! Where did this come from?
What?
Who launched the dragon? Why am I upside down? What's happening? All right. I'm going to turn invisible. And
Okay, cool.
back the
Nice
fuck
try.
out. I would like to run, sort of in the where my friends went.
There we go. Yeah, cool. No stress.
You. What's that? What's that?
Going 10 feet to there. She is. Let me just double check. She is going to get an attack of opportunity as she's got reach, but she has disadvantage because you turned invisible first. That is still going to hit. As she just kind of like chomps at the garden as you start scurrying away from her. And that hit is going to do a total of 12 points of piercing damage.
Right. Ouch.
We're copying a plastering, guys.
Cool. Going
as well too.
10 feet to there. Do you want to keep going?
Yes, I'd go my full movement away, obviously.
10,
Please.
20. Cool. You get to about there.
That's right.
You've used your action to turn invisible. Cool. No stress.
There's a dragon.
Cool. Thunk.
In all of this, I guess I'm running north. I guess I trip over Isaiah as I go through, not seeing him. What the hell's going on here?
10.
Ooh.
15 to there, unless you want to go diagonal into the garden for 20.
No, I'll go straight north for now.
Cool. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I think you can get to there. Yeah. Yep. Cool.
This is not usually the way I do things. Javelin throw again.
Okay, no stress. Just so you know, because you've got the Berserker Barbarian, you could rush up to her with a dash and then bonus action attack.
That was what I was wondering, because I thought dash was using up my bonus action.
No, dash uses up the action, so you wouldn't be able to attack normally, but because you're a Berserker, you can attack her as your bonus action.
Frenzy.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no, that's totally fine.
Taking advice from Ian, I'm going to basically go in and do my frenzy attack.
If you feel like getting reckless on her, then get advantage on it.
I think I'll do that.
Okay.
Cool. I said I would do advantage, so record. But yeah, 24 to hit.
Yeah, cool. No stress. That definitely hits her as you go thundering across the grass. What does this attack look like as you go running up to her? This massive beast just kind of hunched waiting for you.
If anyone's seen Demon Slayer, there's that one attack where he's just constantly moving his sword around until it just comes down.
Yeah,
That's
gotcha.
basically what happens. I'm going to try and practice slap of the wing.
Okay, yeah, cool. You do smack one of the wings, cut through it. Not enough to kind of like cut it off, but you can see that she folds it in on herself quite painfully as that attack hits her. And she's definitely hurt. There is another spray of blood kind of hitting the grass beneath you. This very dark, kind of black, sickly blood. Ending, who was that? That was Thunk, bringing us back up to Ian.
Ian will charge directly north and smash through that wall. If that.
Okay. Make an athletics check for me. Yeah, Ian runs directly north and smashes through that wall. Going 5, 10, smashing through to there. Careful of the cauldron.
Yeah. Ooh. Keep going straight through that next wall. I'm gonna go.
10,
what's
15,
that unstoppable dude?
20.
Marvel.
Make another athletics check. Even better. Yep. Through the second wall. As you just crash through her entire house and emerge on the north side.
Yes.
Where did you come from?
And then, can I use my momentum and just try and leap that last like 5 feet and get into melee range with her, or am I definitely
I'd say
unable to do that?
you definitely need to use the dash. You've gone through 2 walls in 1 turn. I think even though as unstoppable as Ian is, just the momentum probably would have been slightly stopped.
Yes, I will. I'll use my dash and then
Cool.
bonus attack.
Yep, go for it.
And in all of this, Ian's leather apron has been torn off, and you see that his black markings that Goliaths have come together on his chest and form this like gnarly crown that's all made out of like thorns and broken twigs and stuff.
Nice.
He leaps up and just like he's swinging right into the open mouth if you can.
Yeah, go for it.
18 to hit for 9 damage.
Cool. Definitely hits, definitely does damage. She's not enjoying that as you come busting out like the Kool-Aid Man from her. Is that the Kool-Aid Man? No, I think I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, Kool-Aid Man, that works.
Yeah.
Hey! And that was reckless as well, so...
Okay, cool, good to know.
Hit back.
As you kind of like smash into her, smacking her head to the side, she kind of grunts and roars from that, doing damage. You see blood hit the ground. You can see that there are a couple of injuries kind of on her now. She looks like she's getting worked over, to say the least.
I'll move like left a little bit so that I'm... Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Cool, no stress. Ending Ian's turn, bringing us to Zanzibar. Zanzibar, at the start of your turn, you take 4 points of fire damage for being on fire. And then we're going to readjust down to where you are. What would you like to do?
First thing is to run into that stream and not be on fire anymore.
Yeah, cool, no stress. You go 5, 10, 15, 20, and the fire is doused.
Have I, in any of this travel around this house, spotted anything that indicates where the orchard is?
No, as you look around, you become more and more convinced that the orchard is not located here.
Okay. Alright, I think I have maybe 2 steps left that I can move.
Yep.
So I will move forward a bit. If
Back
any
the other
of
way?
my
Or up?
just sort of diagonally towards where the dragon is.
Cool.
Where the people are.
Yep.
If any of my fellow party members were to see me, they'd notice I've been pretty badly scorched by this Edith. And that's it for me, thanks.
Cool, no stress. That brings us to Solana.
I'm torn. I really want to go through the cottage because that looked like a ton of fun, but I can also see my very badly burned comrade on the right. No, Zanzibar and your ethics you have rubbed off me. I'm going to go towards my comrade who has been badly burnt, and I'm going to cast healing word on you, Zanzibar. And I'm going to. I've watched a lot of clerics. This is what I've learned my healing off. So it's a lot of hand motions and humming, and a little bit of Gregorian chant kind of comes in a language that you can't decipher. But it's very kind of, interpretive dance meets cleric ritualistic healing.
Okay, cool, no stress.
And I need to cast that, don't I?
I start quivering from the energies being directed towards me.
Yeah, it's really powerful stuff.
I've been born again, I'm sure of it.
7 health for you, my friend.
Oh, thank you. I feel like.
Oh, you also can't see me. Actually, I'm also totally invisible.
Who's that? What's that? Where's that coming from? Oh my god! But I feel great. Bring on the mysterious healing.
Ben, sorry, I've just remembered I haven't been adding the +2 on each of my attacks for raging.
Okay,
so
cool.
I think
No stress.
been 3 attacks on her.
Yep. Let me adjust that accordingly. Bring it down to that. Cool. It's +2, isn't it, at your level?
Yeah, just +2. Thanks.
Yeah, sweet. Easy done. Cool. Is that your turn to finish there, Solana?
And just any remaining... I didn't count, sorry, how far I moved to get to her. At any remaining movement, just keep going towards the dragon.
That's fine. I moved you your max, but we can assume that you kind of angle more this way than that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a range of, I don't know, lots of feet.
Okay.
I've never thought about the range of healing word, to be honest. I probably should look that up. Bringing us to Alros, who you still have as she's flown over the top of the house, you still have your bird up there, still has the witch bolt connected, so you can just use your action to do the damage.
Yeah. So 1d12?
2d12, because you're casting it at 2nd level as a warlock.
Oh.
Nice.
Cool. That is going to do that much damage to her. That brings her down to that. She is looking bad as the 2 barbarians kind of cut into her, and this energy arcing down from the ceiling continues to damage her. You can see that she is not doing well at the moment. Even starting, like, you can see that there are splotches and gouges of like this black blood that hits the ground beneath her. I would describe her as bloodied, meaning that she is at or below half of her maximum hit points. Do you want to do any movement on your turn for yourself or your familiar?
The familiar is very happy sitting on top of the roof because the dragon's got bigger things to worry about. I'm going to move towards the riverside to sort of spread out a little bit.
Cool, no stress.
To the east.
Going 5, 10, 15, 20 to there.
Yeah, spread out a little bit, yeah.
Cool. In the spirit of spreading out, I'll put you one more north.
Brilliant.
Cool. That brings us to her turn. And on her turn, she is going to disengage as her action. As she flaps her wings to push you guys away from her. And she flies 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
How's that wing that Thunk took a nice chunk out of going?
Injured. You can see that as she flaps away, she effectively disappears. Not in a way that, like, you know, she's gone, but you can see that she has taken flight and started to kind of, you know, very haphazardly fly beneath the canopy. You can hear kind of like the snapping of branches and twigs and different things as she continues to flap away and try to make good her escape. Do you guys want to pursue her, or do you want to stay where you are?
Unless someone stops him, Ian will run after her. He's in a rage.
Thunk is now incredibly jealous that Ian just got to throw himself through a building and more in pursuit of Ian than of the.
It's like foaming at the mouth, like ah. Just, yeah.
Is that the rest of the party following along?
I call out, guys. Remember, we need to find out where the orchard is.
Yeah, Zanzibar for sure would be able to snap me out of my rage and pull and rein me back in if chasing is foolish.
I think it's too late to rescue the situation, but I don't think we should kill her simply because we want to know where the orchard is. But I also think that she'll never give up now. That's it.
The orchard is, and if you can kind of, you know, sort of.
Sorry, mate.
We'll show her that we know what's what, and we've got her right down to the end. But we do need to find out where this orchard is because it's not nearby.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. You guys are able to keep relative pace with her. She's moving slower, but you guys, I'm assuming, kind of sprinting after her. Not so much that you can stay right behind her, but there's, you know, almost never a moment where you can't hear the branches snapping, or the that's what I want. You can't hear the branches snapping or some kind of sound coming from ahead of you. A minute does go by, which means that the rages would be ended and the invisibility would also be ended by time you guys enter the new area. And sure enough, you come running. She has fled into what appears to be an orchard, which grows in a clearing on the west side of a shallow stream. The forest around it appears vibrant, and the canopy of massive oak trees parts to allow the sunlight into Edith's apple orchard. You guys appearing right there. And I'm going to quickly...
there's waves.
What do I want to do? Grab onto... Oops, made you completely invisible. That's not what I meant to do.
So Ian and Thunk would have, this is new for me, I was just reading it, got a level of exhaustion after going into their frenzy.
Yes.
which gives us disadvantage on ability checks. So yeah, as we're running, it's like, ah, and then just like the axe starts to drag, and then like, oh, sorry everyone, I get a bit carried away sometimes.
Yeah, this is all your fault, Ian.
No, that was a solid effort.
Sorry.
That was a solid effort.
When I get angry, I lose control.
It's amazing work.
When I get self-healing, I get sexual healing, but that's just me.
Never get angry when you're cutting someone's hair. It might end up being something
More.
yes.
Something a
Be a
lot
good
more.
idea for a musical, something like that, like a demon barber or something that kills people. So that's a really cool idea for a play. We should totally take that.
Cutting hair is very relaxing.
Afterwards, and just the best meat pies.
Yeah, I like it. That's what we could do after this, as part of the charity gig.
Cool. Alrighty. Picking up. We're going to continue through the initiative order from as if it's the end of Edith's turn, just to save us going into Astral rolling again, or Avray rolling again, blah, 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 which makes it Isaiah's turn. When you guys get here, you cannot see Edith, but you have not heard, like, you see the apples on the far side of the stream, and you can also hear, like, none of the breaking branches or anything else ahead of you. The forest around you goes quiet, and you suspect that she is here somewhere. Isaiah, what would you like to do?
So, where are the apples again, Ben? Sorry?
On the far side, I will grab you, move you across just so you can see for the fog of war. But on the far side there, you can see that they kind of line up almost in rows, these much smaller apple trees compared to the large kind of redwoods and oaks around them.
And I assume we're no longer invisible.
You are not invisible, correct?
Right, good, yes. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making my way over to my full movement to the bottom left apple tree that I can see.
Okay, cool. No stress. You go 5, 15 going through the water, which is deeper than you initially anticipate. 20 to get to there. 25, 30. Do you want to dash as an action?
These trees to the south, are they tall and like hideable behind?
Someone your size could definitely get behind one and potentially hide.
And the same with the apple trees?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to dash behind that shimmering apple tree, please.
Okay, cool. No stress. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 is as far as you can get this turn.
Oh, good. And I'll hang there.
Cool. Thunk. You are muted, Thunk. You're going to have to...
Sorry, there's been...
All good.
I might try and do the same, but just go for the tree just to the north.
Cool. All right, no stress. Going 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then do you want to move again? Dash?
It's the glowing trees that are the ones that have the orchid apples, right?
To be honest, all of them do have the apples. Some of the glowing ones appear, the apples appear a little bit brighter, but for the most part, all of them appear to have them.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the not the one where Isaiah's at, but the next closest, just north of there.
Yeah, cool. Going 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Do you want to go one more or stay there?
I'll stay there, and as a bonus action, I'm going to cut off one of the apples and sort of just shout out, "These were the ones you wanted, right?"
Cool. You cut off, catch the apple in your hand. Bringing us to Ian.
I'll do basically the same over to Thunk.
15, 20, 25, 30, 5, 10, 15, 20.
And is there another apple within reach?
Yeah.
I'll grab it and take a bite. Oh, this looks just like what I need.
Cool. As you take a bite out of it, you recover 8 points of healing. As you guys see his wounds start to heal.
How's my exhaustion feel?
1 level better.
Rad. Oh, that was very refreshing.
Zanzibar, who is no longer on fire.
Yes. I couldn't make it to one of those trees, I don't think, in time.
Probably not with, probably not with your dwarven movement.
One thing I will call out to everyone is, we probably don't need a full apple per villager. A bite may be enough to cure them.
Certainly did me wonders.
Yeah, and my character's still feeling very weak. She wants one of those apples, but she's feeling weak. She might just move down a little bit towards the creek.
Okay, 5, 10.
Yep, and then maybe 2 steps southwest.
Do.
Yeah, I don't think she can move any further.
15, 20, yeah, that'd be about your max.
Yep, and
Ben?
I'll leave it at that.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt. As a reaction, seeing what it's done to Ian, could I sort of throw the apple to Zanzibar?
Make an athletics check. You would have disadvantage on this throw.
It's a pretty big throw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it, like 40 feet?
Yeah, it's a...
Barbarian. Oh, Goliath,
That's
you can
okay.
do that.
Throwing it towards me is still good. I can.
It's like a baseball throw,
Oh, no,
but
that's-
further.
That hasn't done a disadvantage. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. Just go one more.
Yep.
With an 18 on the first result and the disadvantage, 18 being the disadvantage. Yeah, that apple sails through the air and kind of lands around where Zanzibar is.
Awesome, thank you.
Do you want to use your action to take a bite?
Yes, please.
Cool. You take 7 points of healing.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Thunk. Really appreciate my party and how much they've saved my life today.
Nice throw.
I start to sniffle a bit with love for my party.
Okay, cool. Solana.
Okay. I'm going to first of all pull out my dagger and do a really cool little flip with it, and I'm going to hold that action for if I see Edith Dragon or Edith within whatever dagger range is, which I think is 50 feet, 60 feet. And then as my bonus action though, I think, because Alros, you haven't had inspiration yet, have you? Above me there? No, beautiful. So I'm going to turn to Alros and say, look, I don't know what's about to happen, but you might just need this help. Just remember, we're bringing apples back. Them as the townfolk don't know how to act. We know they're special going to take a stack. Give it to them, Alros. And I'm going to inspire him to take lots of apples from ye old Justin Timberlake. And and that's it, holding my dagger action for if she comes within range. So staying where I am.
Cool. All right, no stress. Bringing us to Alros.
Does my familiar flying around spot Edith anywhere in the general vicinity?
Make a perception check with your familiar. What is it? It's a small bird, isn't it?
Yep.
Let us quickly choose a stat block for this from the back of the player's handbook. Probably, let's go a raven, who is probably the equivalent. Cool. So go. Okay, cool. Go roll 1d20 plus 3.
Ugh. 10 there in a total.
Cool. Doing a quick fly around, your familiar does not spot Edith, no.
Alright, in that case I will move westwards to the other side of the water. And
Cool, going 5, 10, 20, 25, 30 to there.
Yeah, and I'll stay here.
Cool, no stress. Brings us to Edith. The first thing that happens is as you guys are pulling apples out of the tree, just poor Thunk is unlucky as that tree, one of its branches moves and just cleans up Thunk completely, smashing him, doing a total of that is 13 points of bludgeoning damage. And then Edith herself explodes out of the water, going 5 feet to there in terms of dagger range. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, you'd have a dagger shot there if you wanted to. It would be with disadvantage, Solana, because you'll be on the 20 feet.
Fair enough. Yeah, whatever. We'll still go. It's just more instinct than anything. And that's attack dagger, I'm guessing.
Yes. Yeah, it should be.
It's a 17 to hit.
Nice.
Oh, why has that not shown up on my?
I put it in the wrong chat. Hang on, I put it in the.
Yeah,
wrong
I think you sent me a.
I think I put it in the chat, not the dice.
No, that's fine. We can use that. We can still use that result. I just was confused. I was like, where is it? Why can't I see it? Yes, you did. 17, 7 to hit.
Yes,
perfect. Brings her down to that much damage, actually. Almost went the wrong way with that. Yeah, as you throw that dagger out, hits her kind of in the side. She and then continues to kind of struggle forward. You can see she's kind of being a bit vendetta-y as she goes 5, 10, 15, 20, gets to there, opens up her mouth and just this like white dust fills the area between the trees. And I need both of my barbarians to make Constitution saves.
Getting breathed on, guys.
That's a 13 for me.
Ooh, 12 for me.
Turns out not to be too deadly, as you take a total of 3 points of poison damage. But the both of you are now poisoned. And I'm just going to change this. Let's get it.
Eat apple.
There, and then how do I... there we go.
Ooh.
I don't know why it's purple, but that's what we're going. I was going for green, but
you guys have gone a beautiful shade of blueberry.
And then she just uses the rest of her walking speed just to back up, kind of 5 feet to there. What's her walking speed? Oh no, she can go one more. Cool. As she breathes that and then backs up, you can see she's kind of coiled up, quite ready to defend this area. Bringing us to Isaiah, down south of her.
How far away?
From her? 10, 20, 10, 20, 30. She's within 35 feet of you. Outside of 30.
Right, well, I'll take 10 feet of movement ahead to get within range.
Yep.
And I'll take out a pen.
Yep.
And a quill. Oh, no, hang on. I take out a quill and a piece of paper and start writing a note and cast Vicious Mockery.
Okay, cool. No stress. What's your spell save? Is it 13?
Yes, it is.
She succeeds the save. She is not to be mocked. What was the note anyway, just out of curiosity?
That's between me and the sea. Thou art as ugly as a hag. You should probably go live in a... And that's as far as I go.
Okay, cool. No stress. You just have writer's block. That's why she succeeds the save. Is it's just a moment.
It's just like you should. There once was a woman from. Oh fuck.
Cool. Do you want to stay there, or do you want to move back behind the tree?
Yeah, I'll duck back behind the apple tree that I was at, please.
Yeah, cool. No stress. You went what, like 10 feet forward, and then 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, you get about to there. Cool. Bringing us.
That's me.
Thunk.
I'm gonna take an apple. Is it a bonus action or an action? To take.
It would be. I think I let. I do think I let Ian get away with a bonus action before, but it will be an action to eat the apple.
I'm gonna have to do that. I'm on. Sorry if I'm breaking game here, but I'm on 5 health, guys.
You're
Yeah,
You
really
don't look too
battered.
good.
I maybe you deal with this a bit more. I'm gonna just eat one of these.
Missing an arm, broken leg.
Cool. It does cure the poisoned condition, and you regain 6 points of healing.
Okay. And I'm gonna. Yeah, I think I'm still going to come out right. So come out to the east and north towards the dragon. Like,
Yep.
I guess I'm going for it again.
Cool. As you go running inwards, casting aside the core of your apple, bringing us to Ian.
Yes. Hold on, sorry. I think Thunk is trying to attack, but you use your action to eat
Yeah,
an
I just
apple.
remembered. Yes, I just remembered. That was my fault.
Cool. No stress.
Thunk, get out of there! And I will also take another big bite of the apple.
Cool. No stress.
And then I will run in. If that's part of the creature, then I understand. Otherwise, I want to try and push Thunk out of the way. I want to be the thing that's in front of Beast.
Okay. Thunk, do you let him push you out of the way?
No.
Right.
He's a
Contested athletics. The arm wrestle vendetta from earlier coming back to haunt us.
I'm also going into a rage on my turn. Did you
Okay,
go
cool.
into a rage, Thunk?
No, I didn't. Because
You have advantage.
No,
I think it's check.
yeah, my bad. 12.
Cool.
Oh.
Versus, doesn't even need the advantage as Ian pushes Thunk to the side.
Get out of
Gets into
here!
that space.
But I
and
want to do what you do.
Do it at full health. And this time I pull out the great club, which is just like a big old truncheon that's kind of been like just down the back of one of my legs.
Yep.
I'm like, we're gonna do this dirty. And I just like get right in her face.
Zanzibar.
Truncheon from the pants, going down dirty.
My character's very sad because, you know, if Edith dies, there'll be no one to protect the forest. But she just doesn't. I just don't see any way around this situation anymore.
Does she protect the forest? Seems like she's poisoning it.
No,
My voice
she's
echoes
not.
in your head.
No. No. My character is convinced that she's not poisoning anything at all.
Okay.
But so I will call out to Edith that, you know, Edith, you know, you need to flee and live to protect the forest another day. But if you won't flee, then we will have to protect ourselves from you. And then I will attack, very sadly.
Okay. Cool. Fair enough. You can, if you want to, make a persuasion check instead of attacking. If you think, because I'll take it as like your words is what they are. You can kind of try to nail it down with a persuasion check, but it does use your action to do so, and it's basically you saying like, I'm not going to attack you. You can, you know, this can end peacefully.
I'll try. I don't have much hope. I
Okay.
feel like I'm sort of making my fellow, fellow team at risk from not protecting them. But if she
Up
lives,
to you.
they're also protected. So. That's not too bad. I got 14.
Okay, cool. As you shout that out. Do you want to do any movement on your turn?
No, I'm not getting any closer.
All right, cool. No stress. As you stand there, kind of shout that out. Her reaction will come around on her turn, bringing us to Solana.
Is she still looking really hurt?
Yeah,
Or-
she's looking bad, and even the way that she draws up away from you guys when she came out of the water, it was like attack this, and then you see her kind of like bundle up herself to the north, and it's almost like a cat going like, you know, ears back on alert, like you guys, you know, trying to give warning. You guys better fuck off.
Then I am going to move up next to Alros there, still a little bit back from her, but close enough within
10,
5, 10. Yep.
20. Cool.
Perfect. And I'm gonna call out again. I'm gonna say, "Hey, Edith, like what's old and smelly and goes clunk? It's dead witches." And I'm gonna cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter
Cool.
at her. So it's DC 13.
Ooh, that's close. If it's not,
Nice
as you
laughter.
call that out, she sort of like stands there, and you can see that, like in dragon form, she's like. It's almost like she's having a fit, you know. It's like as she kind of like struggles around, you can see that it's somewhat like almost like you know, Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker movie, you know, where it's just like he's almost choking when he's trying not to laugh. Thank you, Joker movie, for giving me Tasha's Hideous Laughter in an edgelord way. Yeah, as she kind of like, you know, chokes and sputters, and kind of like you can see her stumbling around, you know, whipping her head and her tail, trying to fight the spell, but she did not succeed her save.
So she's prone now. So we get...
yeah, prone and incapacitated, I believe.
Yes, so it means advantages all around, friends. Advantage all around.
Cool.
And
Okay.
I think I'm going to just stay where I am. Oh no, I'll keep the rest of my movements to the last 10 feet, heading just towards the injured Goliaths, because I might need to healing word. I might need to touch them up soon. So
Cool. Yeah, no stress.
I got a little bit
Thank
of that
you.
left. I haven't done anything yet. I said I might.
Okay, cool. No stress. That brings us to... So just remembering with that spell, if she takes damage, she gets to make the save again against it. Bringing us to Alros.
Yeah. So I'm going to move towards within 10 feet of her.
Mm-hmm. 5,
And then-
10, 15.
And then cast, what is it called? Arms of Hadar. And
Okay, cool. No stress.
she's on
You
the
want to
ground,
go...
she's prone, and she's going to get slapped.
Cool. You want to go just one more to there, just to make sure you don't accidentally slap around your friends.
Yeah.
Cool. I think incapacitate, she automatically fails the dex save, so you can go for the damage.
So just use cast again?
Yeah. Go cast Arms of Hadar. I didn't even think about that, to be honest.
Nah, it doesn't work.
Okay, that's fine. The damage for Arms of Hadar, I think it's like 3d6, something like that. Here it is. It is in fact 2d6 necrotic damage. Can't take reactions till the end of its next turn. Cool. Doing 5 points of bludgeoning or necrotic, sorry. Literally just said it. Yeah, smacks her around. You know, she doesn't kind of try to get away from it. What do these look like for Alros?
Chanting Cthulhu Thargan, tentacles erupt from within me, and these wavering tentacles just go walloping her.
Okay,
like a
cool. No
kraken.
stress. Yep, you smack her around, smacking into her. She kind of brings up her wing as if trying to shield herself. Goes for another save against Tasha's, which she succeeds. And as you kind of bludgeon her, she pulls herself together, standing back up, but still visibly injured, you know, from that attack and earlier. Is that Alros's turn done?
Yes, it is.
Cool. She stands up, and as she does, you can see that her form is kind of like falling to pieces. And she says, this creature that is her speaks. And in this very kind of broken language, she says, "Oh, though my life is spent, this curse shall endure. No aid you shall have. My food now impure." Flaps her wings, and goes 5 feet to there. She used her action to cast the curse, so you guys get attacks of opportunity if you wish to use them.
Yeah, we will. Well, I will anyway.
You won't have one. You're not within 5
okay,
feet of her.
sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Am I within close enough to attack her?
Yeah, both barbarians are. In terms of the warlock, you're not. But would you want to stand within 5 feet of her to have cast your spell before?
No, it will be around 10 feet. Yeah.
Cool. No stress. Go for. Let me just check these attacks.
I missed with an 8.
I can't remember if I hit with a 15.
You do not hit. Both attacks missing. She inflates her wings and begins to fly away, going 5, 10, 15, 20, and disappears off into the forests northward. As you guys are holding that fruit, it in your very hands, you know, maybe still holding onto it in one hand, Zanzibar, you look down at it, you feel movement, and then look down at it, and in your hand, it just moulders and rots and falls apart and hits the ground in absolute pieces. But virtually turned to ash. Do you guys follow her again?
Yes, I would follow her, and I will try to kill her.
Cool.
I need to kill her. She needs to die.
You guys find her fairly easily. Little ways away. She's still alive when you find her, but she's in her kind of humanoid form. Green eyes, long fingers, elven ears that are far too long. You can see that she's visibly injured. She's kind of like lying half on a rock. And looks up at you guys as you approach her and says, I hope this disease, whatever it is, consumes the lot of you. What do you guys do?
Kill her.
I put a
Unless
hand
somebody
out
stops
first. Yeah, I put a hand out first, with my club. So now it didn't have to come to your death, and it still does not. We need those apples. If you are able to reverse that curse, you do not need to die here today. But if you will not, then I cannot let you live. As I'm sure Alice agrees.
She reaches kind of like inside of herself, like inside of like her dress, you know, as if put to produce something inside of like maybe that knapsack that she had. She says, this plague, if it is a plague, and produces a red apple. Give this to one of the victims. If it is a disease, the apple will cure it instantly. If it is a curse, it will turn to ash, and I cannot help. We will commence trade.
Oh my god, I feel so terrible. Oh.
Sometimes you have to put a hard word in and come through on a threat.
I lean forward and start trying to tend her wounds. Because, you know, we came into her yard. I know she made me fine. She did her stupid trinkets. Yes, fine. Okay, fine.
Take out one of my straight edge razors and just take off a slice of this apple and offer it to her. If you would see fit to rejuvenate the rest of the apples, I'm sure the 50 people in our village in need of them would appreciate not having to split this one.
She kind of like crushes the apple in her palm and she says, you bring me tribute, offal, wood, bones, things you have taken from this forest, you bring me part of it back. And I will undo the curse on the apples.
Sounds good. We can do that.
Thank you.
I'll tentatively walk forward and see if she'll let me sort of tend to her wounds a little bit.
She looks at you through her slitted eyes. You can see her considering you very carefully as you bend down to kind of try to, you know, to get a better look and then go in to touch her. You can see she appears to bleed and be injured just as any common folk would. And you can see that, you know, she's definitely like, she's not common folk, she doesn't seem like she's immortal. Like, she's not a god, you know, as some simpler folk might have assumed that she was once upon a time. And as you go to lay hands on her and try to look at her wounds, her form becomes intangible and unsolid and becomes a pile of autumn leaves that then just blow away. You don't sense this as a demise, but just getting out of here. You know, she's defeated, but she's not going to permit you to nurse her.
All right. Well,
Some people just won't take help.
But I think we should take that bit of apple back, and we should, you know, talk to the alderman and say that we think trade is probably a good idea right now, and we can probably cure quite a few people.
we can at
if
least try
indeed.
that apple and see what happens. Yeah, the bit of apple we have left. Yeah.
If indeed it will work.
Yes, if it does, and if it doesn't, well, you know, that's another clue along the path of discovery, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. No stress. As you guys...
Now, here's a song.
Your signature tracker there.
As you guys head back to Woodhaven, you get back, you know, basically by nightfall you return. And once there, go and visit the alderman. And Percival's like, so she is slain? You have destroyed her?
Yeah. Yes, we definitely have. That's Oromovich is gone forever.
Hey,
Never to return
no,
again.
no. We have reopened trade with Edith, and in exchange for the usual scrap and trash that we do not need, apparently we must give her back parts of things that we take from her forests.
But she gives
An
us
old-
this apple which can, if not cure the plague, it might help
Yes.
diagnose it, maybe.
This apple can cure disease as long as it is not magical in origin.
I will not feed any gift from Edith to my son.
I've already
That's
eaten
fine.
some, it was very good.
We'll find someone else to try it with, Percy. The village needs to know what is going on here.
Very well. We will give her back our scraps, if she wishes, for our rubbish so desperately. Such an old, archaic tradition. Find out what you can.
I suspect that this village just has a very poor understanding of what she's about, and that's going to change moving forward.
Alderman, did your ancestors found this village on a burial ground of some sort?
Perhaps the pet cemeteries or something.
Kind of like turns his head towards you as you say that, and he says, the village, we understand, was founded by gnomish people a long time ago. We're not on a burial ground, but there are barrows very close to the village.
Zanzibar, do you know of these?
No. Well, I mean, no, not really. No, where are these, Percy? I've never heard of this before.
Very close.
I should know this, knowing my history, but I don't.
Very close by. Old, gnomish burial grounds, dotted with the rock piles similar to those found in town, but there are no bodies in here. Why, you suspect that this is related?
You never know. We'll have to check it out. But first,
All things are related.
yeah. But first, we have to concentrate on getting the village as well and testing them out.
Let's test the apple out, guys. The apple,
Yep.
the villagers,
Yep.
and impressing Sarah, maybe.
Yeah, I was about to say, quick, run and get Sarah. Maybe she could help. Wink.
Yeah.
When you provide this apple to one of the villagers, they, you know, sort of quite meekly, quite weakly rise up to grab it. And as they bite into it, almost instantly, it kind of feathers and goes grey and turns to ashes. Which
So-
teaches you this. It is not a disease. It is not something that occurs naturally. This is a curse, and something is deliberately trying to destroy Woodhaven. Next week, we continue our adventure. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us on Twitch. The next adventure, it's funny that you said that, Ian, because the next adventure is called The Barrows.
I
For
had a
those
feeling.
in the competition, so you guys just need to message me your first and second choice for who you would like to see go through, and then you'll be notified. But I will let you know. This increasingly becomes such a difficult decision every week. So I had a lot of fun playing with all of you, and we will be streaming the next part 4 of Blood in Woodhaven on Twitch at 1:30 next week as well. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate your time.
Thanks,
And
everyone.
have a lot of fun. Cheers.
Thanks again, Ben.
It's awesome.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Hey.